Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we are live on a Saturday morning, ready to do some podcasting, ready to do some feedback. That is when you write in about whatever you felt about the show and what we said, and then we respond to it. It's that simple. It's a pretty straight up thing. The official weapon of the show is
folding chair.
In the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
And bullet ball extreme. So I guess without further delay, let's just start getting into the feedback. Okay, there's plenty of stuff that y'all left. The first thing, I'll say without further delay, but that's wrong. The first thing is actually the people that gave us money. So you can go to the blackguywhotips.com, our website. You can look on the right hand side, and there's like a, hey, you want to support the show? You can support with a recurring donation. You can support with a one-time donation. It can be any amount. Mm-hmm. If you do a one-time donation, they actually let you leave a note in the I don't know if that's something y'all are into, but if you want to leave us a little note like, hey, whatever, you can. So we're going to give those people the shout out that they deserve.
May I have your attention? You are now listening to Charlotte's Own Rod and Karen. We welcome the good folks who tithe to the Black Guy Who Tips.
Today's a new day. That's right. New names, new change. Let's talk about it. We got a one-time donation from Jacoby H, who left us no note, but just hit us up with the purpose of being the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. Thank you, Jacoby.
Oh, thank you.
David from Brooklyn, recurring donator. Tom W.J., Michael S., Julian N., Dana R., Noel W., Nicholas Z., Jane M., Bomani Jones, Laura E., Pete B., Don G., Johanna M., Douglas R., Laura F., and lastly, we got another one-time donation from Jennifer, who says, aloha from Pilani. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
The one times is coming through. And of course, Chris from Hawaii. Speaking of Hawaii, okay? Mm-hmm. Aloha to him. So thank you, everybody that put in on this. We appreciate you. So yeah, Chartable is having issues where it's not picking up people's reviews, I think.
Okay.
Or maybe just it hasn't been long enough, because oh my God, we have so many reviews.
Oh, probably because
but they all say that from 3 days ago or less.
Oh.
So I imagine it's because we were like, you can do it on your computer now. Mm-hmm. And y'all did it.
Let's go.
Oh my God, it's so many reviews.
I feel loved.
Yes. It's.
Oh my God, this beautiful.
See, you have not because you ask not.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Don't get Karen to preaching up in here. So I'm just going to try to read them all. But when I tell y'all there's so many, I actually am going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen so y'all can see this. So the last one is from August 1st. That's right here where I'm circling my mouse. Can y'all see that? Mm-hmm. I'm going to just scroll to the top. All of these are new.
Woohoo!
Oh my God.
Let's go.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much, y'all.
All right. Well, got my work cut out. Listen, I asked.
Do you need some tea?
I asked and we received. So let me go ahead and get into them then. So we got this one from Shelly029 that says, review 5 stars. Love it. Thank you. Keep up the good work. We shall. Mm-hmm. This one is from Joey Rich Bowie, who says, I got 5 on it.
Ow.
Dope, just dope. 5 stars. This one's from M Toro, who says, the new banter intro though, yes. Just a hashtag Karen Rebel supporting phenomenal family members. Thank you. Shout out to Karen Hunter. Love going on there every Friday. Mm-hmm. Having a great time. It's been, as she says, the time flies by. It's
does.
Amazing.
Y'all have a ball.
We got this one that says from, I think it's YLLOM 1989. No 5-star reviews in a month. Okay, here we go then. I'm a new listener and first heard Rod and Karen on the Dear Prudence podcast. They're so funny, both smart, funny, and silly funny. But what hooked me is how they talk about their relationship. Like, guys, I'm taking notes. I love how they talk to each other and about each other, and love really comes through. Thank you. But they're real about it being work and not always rainbows and sunshine 24/7 too. Well, thank you. We normally don't do relationship advice stuff.
But that was fun doing that show.
That was a very fun podcast that we got to go on. We had a good time.
We did.
And hopefully we get to come back one day, because it was just that good of a good time. This one is from Girl Hatton, GURLHATTAN, like Manhattan, but Girl Hatton.
Oh.
Comical Voices of Reason. Oh yeah, I had to switch from Spotify to break the review streak. Most reasonable, Zag When They Zig podcast award goes to Rod and Karen. Also, West versus Dyson and the Black Academic Fade was the back and forth I had no idea I needed. Thanks for 934 and 2916 and everything before and after and in between. Stay dope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I'll highlight like, oh, if you really want to hear more of whatever, like someone's like, oh, I like your Michael Eric Dyson. I'm like, oh, you should check out this episode. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, they might not have time, or they might not want to go check that out. But I love when somebody does, because I'm like, I'm glad I mentioned it, and I'm glad I said it, because somebody out there was like, let me go listen to it, and they got their life to it, because they may have just heard, they may not even have been listening to the show back then.
Right.
It's 10 stars from me, says Shoe Booty, who says, Rod and Karen bring the realness, a real couple that has genuine respect for each other, giving me laughs and something to think about multiple times a week. Without them, I wouldn't know that there is sword ratchetness literally every single day.
Yes, and there's a lot of articles that Roger can't even get to.
Yeah, multiple times a day sometimes. What a world. Sign up for premium too. Get even more Rod and Karen goodness in your life.
Oh, and Justin, just to be back there with us too.
Yeah, it actually made me think about the doing the advice thing was like a spin-off show of us doing relationship advice, but I was like, I don't know, what people gonna write in, will it be enough? I kind of got in my head, but it's something I'm thinking about maybe putting behind the paywall.
That would be fun.
Maybe we probably wouldn't do it that often, because I doubt people gonna write in that much like for advice, but I don't know, something I'm thinking about. But it'd be behind the paywall, so I don't think I want the world. I don't really feel like putting it out into the world.
No, because y'all people talking crazy.
But people seem to like our advice, and I think they like that it's considerate. And I forgot, there's part of the reason I didn't want to do it, or haven't really thought about doing it, is because I find so much of the advice to just be like very not thoughtful and very like generic and strong, because those are the things that help things go viral, strong opinions.
Yes.
But I'm like, I don't know, a nuanced opinion that says, hey, I don't actually know everything, and I'm not trying to apply everything to you, but it could be this, but it could also be that. I don't know, maybe there is room for that type of show out there, instead of the like, leave them or whatever, whatever it is.
Real quick short answers.
Long time listener, this is from Fink Hearts Music, who says, I've been listening for over 10 years. I love the evolution of the show. Example, banter and the House of the Dragon reviews are amazing. Thank you. Nicole EF says, one of the best podcasts ever. I really love this podcast. I'm a frequent listener of Karen Hunter and have always appreciated Rod's perspective on different topics while on the Karen Hunter show. One day I decided I would check out the Blackout Tips podcast, and it's so good that not only are new episodes the highlight of my week, I'm upset I discovered it so late. I'm even rewatching all the House of the Dragon so I can listen to all the episode recaps. You both are so funny. When I'm listening to y'all, when I'm out in public, I am sure I look weird for laughing and smiling myself. Thanks for all the great work.
Oh, thank you, baby.
I love that, and I hope that we do give people that feeling, because sometimes when I go on my walks or something, and I'm normally like by myself, and I'll throw on like a funny podcast or something, and I'll catch myself laughing out loud, smiling and stuff. But you know what, man? I think a lot of times people love that energy. They see it coming the other way, and they'll like wave or they'll smile back. And it's good, because normally if I'm listening to music or whatever, I'm not even thinking about that, and I'm definitely not really smiling and waving at people. So it could be a mood booster depending on what you're listening to. Best show update, 8/21/24. This is from I Dream 2. It says, my bad. I have now updated my original 5-star review to give you another 5 stars and a commitment to do it annually. This is still my favorite and most recommended podcast. It's me, aka S. Carter Thomas, aka I Dream. Aww. You all were my first podcast like 5 years ago, and still the only one I must listen to. I made the leap to a full on tipper during the pandemic. Just wanted to give some love. It's me. Thank you.
Thank you, baby.
This is so fun. Mm-hmm. This is really why we be asking y'all to do these reviews, because it feels so good, honestly.
Right, because we do what we do. We work hard and things like that, and it just makes us feel good to go, oh, okay, people are listening. They do appreciate what we do and things like that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of shows that, I mean, they can't get a review. You know, they work hard, or they can't get feedback. Y'all send us so much stuff, we can do 2-3 hours of feedback on a given week just off of y'all. So like I just want people to know we appreciate it and we're thankful for it.
We are.
And so it's nice to be able to ask for something and, you know, and look up and be like, damn, it's a lot of reviews.
And let's go.
Came for Game of Thrones, The House and the Dragons, stayed. I originally, this is from Acilio, 5 stars. I originally started listening after hearing Rod and Karen on Keith and the Girl, and I listened to all their Game of Thrones and House of Dragon reviews. I stayed because they are funny and keep me updated on things I wouldn't otherwise know. I highly recommend this podcast. Thank you, Acilio.
Thank you.
Now, this is a 4-star review.
Uh-oh.
Now, we did ask for 5.
We did ask for 5.
But it seems complimentary.
Okay.
So I'm gonna chalk this up to you meant to put 5 and you accidentally put 4.
Yeah, and you know, you hit the button and you was like, damn it, I meant 5.
I'm in a good mood. This is from Kwaye. Oh man, I'm gonna say the last name wrong. That's why they gave us 4 stars. All right, I don't blame you. This one, Halo 713 is where it's from. Y'all dope. I was introduced to the Blackout Tips via the Draptomania podcast with Michael Harriet. I just love the show and look forward to listening in, even when I'm not on the road. As a fan of House of the Dragon, your recaps were so awesomely entertaining, enjoyable, and informative that I don't feel like I missed anything by not actually watching. Your Drake versus Kendrick recap verbalized for me why I've never liked Drake. Ugh. The ugh is for Drake, not us. Thank y'all for keeping me company and laughing out here on these streets. Y'all dope. Halo 713 and with 2 truck emojis. So I assume they're a trucker.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, baby. Be safe out there on them roads.
Janae Roxana says, amazing perspectives. I absolutely love this podcast. The music, the fun, and Rod and Karen's analysis on things is so relatable. Also, the House of the Dragon recaps are the business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Petite4369 says, one of my favorite podcasts. This is one of the few Black-centered podcasts where I can get entertainment, news, political commentary, and intellectual banter. I really enjoy the House of Dragon reviews. I'll miss Rod and Karen's Lord DEI jokes. Look forward to every notification for a new episode.
It'll be 2 more years. He'll be back. He ain't gone yet.
Hey, I'm rooting for him to make it to the end because he don't have no dragons, no family. It only even really seem like he got money. He probably got student loans. He's just trying to finish his student loans so he can leave King's Landing.
He is just trying to survive. And we went to the movie theaters. We seen a trailer with him in it. I said, is that Lord D.I.?
Yeah, I hope that brother makes it to the end.
Me too.
Or just he quits like halfway through
just
season.
Quit.
Halfway through season 4, they
Here's
look up.
my 2 weeks notice.
Halfway through season 4, they just look up and be like at the table, like, "Where's Lord Orwell?" And then
everybody dying, don't nobody know how to heal them.
And then we just get a quick cut to him on a carriage leaving town.
Yes.
Like, finally, I paid off my Meister school student loans.
They said the dragons are coming. I am out of here.
We got this one that says, "Wow." From Jazzy Bombastic, who says love, love, love. Thank you. We got another one. We almost done. I'm not going to disappoint my favorite, says Reigns. As the title says, I will never be a disappointment to my favorite podcast of all time, period. I've been listening to for 10 years and hadn't missed a single episode. What?
Oh.
What? How?
Swag, we some talking ass niggas.
We've been doing it for 10 years, and I think I've missed episodes.
I have too. We actually been doing it. Yeah, we've been doing it for, I don't know, a long time. It's been some years.
And I've been a premium listener for 5 years and haven't missed a single episode. I hope to be listening for another 40 years. Riding and carrying my friends in my head, and I hope to meet them at the next live show because I couldn't stay to meet them at the last one they held in Charlotte, but I plan to meet them at the next one. Can't wait. 5 stars all the way. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the last one is from G Benton 14, who says, didn't realize I was slipping. 5 stars. 6 heart emojis. Still love the shows. 5 flame emojis. Thank you.
It ain't got to be long.
Whew, that was good.
We
Thank
can read
y'all,
emojis.
everybody.
Thank you. Y'all made my day.
Yeah, I need to save this page because I didn't know we could get the reviews this way once Chartable start working. And then I might have to stop paying Chartable. Anyway, yeah, they might want to fix that.
Right, might want to get that shit together.
I guess Apple stepped it up. It didn't look like I had to put the country code or anything. So, I'm gonna get into the show, but I'm gonna play a beat here so later on we can, get this money. So we'll be right back, everybody. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So, programming note. One of the episodes I couldn't upload to YouTube. Oh. And I don't think you can even watch the full replay on Crowdcast. Crowdcast had an outage near the end.
Okay.
I remember it was weird. And I was like, let me just stop the show now because it was almost the end of the show anyway.
Right.
And I was like, I'll just download the MP4 and upload it later. Couldn't get it done. Emailed them, they couldn't recover it themselves. They gave us a half off of our subscription for the month, so that was awesome.
Yep.
But that's what happened if you're on YouTube and you feel like I missed the episode. You did. If you only watch on YouTube, there's an episode that you didn't get to see.
That's because you couldn't get the video.
And it's just because I don't have a video.
Right.
It's just no way to get it. So, all right, now let's get into the shows. The first episode was 2960, The Hitler of Breakdancing. We got 4 comments. Appia says, so proud to have inspired this title. Well, listen, there's one thing I always say about Appia. That girl is proud of her Hitler. Okay? Appia from Germany, like, her and Hitler is pretty tight. So I knew you would be happy for that, sis. The one good thing about Hitler is compare him with almost anyone else and the other person suddenly looks so much better. That is true. If you compare someone in your life with him and even so much as hesitate, it is really a bad sign. She also said, I would enjoy an advice segment on the Blackout Tips show for the fun to see what you think about stuff. Yeah, I feel like that's all it really is for. And like I said, I think maybe there's a lane for it. It's something I'm thinking about.
It is.
Maybe there's a lane for it. The thing is, I just know it compared to the traditional advice shows I see, I would imagine it's going to sound very wishy-washy. That's all. Because, like, everybody else's advice is like, well, does he have a big dick? Leave him. Whatever the fuck. It's like,
that's a broke nigga, leave him.
Well, let me know. How fat is she? I'm like, God damn. What kind of advice is this?
That shit, wear weave, she ain't shit.
Right.
She got a BBL, that bitch dirty. And you're like, what? What is happening here, y'all?
So your husband sometimes put napkins in the glove compartment. He is cheating. You go get an STD test. You're like, what? Okay. And the whole time I'm just like, what happened to you? Like, what was it, something traumatic that happened with some napkins in your past? Why don't you turn it into a therapy session instead of advice session? I want to know what happened that triggered this.
Because these are very extreme feelings for something so minor.
Tanya says, love the new banter jingle. It's fantastic and so awesome that you have a couple to choose from. I love when that happens, when people submit multiple things. That's the thing. If you're a listener and you got talent or you make music or whatever, don't let the fact that we have a song for a segment stop you from sending in a song.
We rotate them.
I like to be different and tap in with a different one every once in a while. Sometimes you just feeling one more than the others. Sometimes it's so many songs you forget, but I like the spontaneity and sometimes reminding people like, hey,
We got
this one's a band. This one's a jam too.
Yeah, and also we got very, very, very talented people that listen to the show. Like we really do, artists and people who write beats and things like that. And it's one of the things where sometimes you have to put the call out there because some people, they listen to a podcast. That's my favorite podcast. They will never play my stuff, but we are like, hey dog, we don't mind.
EVE says, I hope that breakdancing bitch is forever ridiculed for the antics she pulled at the Olympics. I hope that she goes out in public and she's ridiculed for the rest of her life. I bet that's going to be the Halloween costume of the year. Yes.
Yes, nigga. People gonna be doing bad dances. Halloween gonna be lit.
Yeah, I've really been enjoying the memes. They've been so good.
Yes.
I've saved so many pictures on my phone and shared so many in my Instagram stories of just
they have been
people doing creative things with her flipping around.
Yes.
Episode 2960 on YouTube. We got some comments. JV City says, loving the show. The algorithm is right a few times a year. So I guess this one was suggested to them. Eb says, I was out of breath. Millie rocking to the banter jingle. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Ebs. Mm-hmm. That's my best friend now that, we got Biden out of here, me and Ebs.
Y'all got Biden out of here, didn't you?
I always say, me and Ebs are like Appia and Hitler, okay? Thick as thieves,
no!
2 fingers crossed, no line between.
No!
We stand 10 toes down together. Appia's gonna definitely write in to clarify that she doesn't agree with Hitler. Like
she gonna be all in her head.
Right, like I'm not joking. She's like, now actually, technically, I do not like Hitler. He was killing Polish people. I'm sure. I know Appia. These are jokes. Bonita says, if you're okay with a little pirating, YouTube got all the For My Man episodes. Gets me through my workday. So there you go. That's a little something for y'all on the out there listening. For me, I DVR them. Yeah, and I just watch them all day.
Got TV One. You can. That's
okay,
route.
I got it set. Listen, it's the only show I got on my DVR right now that's set as record series, anytime, repeat,
and they be catching them all. I'm like, why is there 85 episodes of For My Man?
New or repeat, and they just happen to have come back in this time, so they put in like 5-6 episodes in a day sometimes. So my DVR is full. And The Boys is back too. That ATL Homicide.
Oh, our Boys. I like that show.
Yeah, I saw that. It was back too.
ATL, ho. That's our show.
Christoph put through the fire 2 laughing emojis. I imagine he's talking about
through the fire.
And then he also put literally dancing right now to the new banter beat. I love that it's a bop and everybody was feeling it as much as we were. Alexandria says, I love the new banter music. I swear this show has the best music. I still sing the barbershop version of Fucking with Black People. Trump's son said, trust us, bro, when it came to vetting Vance. He's cool. Yeah, man. Oh, I can't even imagine. I just can't imagine they truly vetted this guy. Because it's just too much shit that popped out where you like, y'all thought y'all could just play this off? Because this is a bad one. And then I saw he tried to order like a donut the other day and it went terrible. It's just like, you can't do nothing right.
Yeah, they don't live normal lives.
Right. They just totally doubling down on the weird. Like, just can't beat the weird charges at all.
Nope. That's why they sticking.
Yeah. They are sticking to them like sperm on a couch. But anyway, the poll was, did you listen to us on Dear Prudence? Yes, 20%, not yet 80%. So, hopefully if we updated that poll, it'd be a little bit higher. But y'all should check us out. It was fun. It was a good time. And one of the stories I think is behind the paywall on their site. And that one's actually my favorite one. I think that one is like the racist, like one of the friends was racist, and it was like, do I tell the rest of the friend group that this guy is racist? And yeah, we had some things to say. I got to talk about how I lost my white friend group back when I used to have them. The next episode is 2961. Did this happen on Futurama? We got 10 comments.
What the hell are we talking about?
Let's see. I am Sasha Pierce says, hello, Rod and Karen. Can you say who the new banter song is by again? Played at the beginning of this episode. It's dope, and I would like to support this person if I can. Yeah, and I believe I did say on the show at the time, that is by Issa Balu. It's spelled ESABALU. Okay, so I follow her on Instagram, and she's a very like fun, talented, like cool person and stuff. So I'm always lurking on the IG and being like, oh, okay, she in the studio, let's go, Jen. But I and we've had her on the show before, I believe, but once again, I never assume people continue to listen to the show.
Right.
It's nice when people say they listen, and in that moment, like a goldfish, I'm like, oh my God, you listen to the show, this is amazing. But just in case people choose to move on or everything's for a season, I never want to hold any grudges or feel like bad.
Right.
So like
podcast listening to, I be all over the place.
Yeah, so I'm easy to be like, oh, okay, so they, like we haven't checked in with each other in a minute. So I just, they doing their thing. And so it's always nice, like you get something like that. It's like, oh, you still listen and you gave us a bop. Oh my God. So that was amazing. But Issa Balu, ESABALU. All right. The comments. We got more. Abia says, you pay way more for prescription drugs than we do in Germany. Even our big pharma people say that American market is insane. For example, you can become really rich as a doctor who does infusions in the US, and as a producer, of course, our drugs for MS and migraines are pens for self-use, and that's why they are better selling in Europe. No incentive for doctors to choose infusions here. Way lower prices for the patient.
Yeah, and also here in America, a lot of our stuff is for profit. Not that y'all not are for profit too, but it's very, very different. The way our structures and stuff is set up, and the way manufacturing companies benefit, they invest billions of dollars, and they want a return on investments and things like that. And it can be very, particularly here in the States, and a lot of other places. I don't know, in Germany, they have universal health care. That makes a huge difference too. And why a lot of these medications are cheaper, than it is here in the States.
They also charge more when you have insurance. Like if you go into a doctor's office without insurance, what they actually bill you is so much lower than if you go in there with insurance, and you can look at what's itemized and stuff, and like they'll be like, oh, it's $500 because insurance is going to pay X amount of money or whatever. It's a real weird system. Shoe Booty says on the dress code thing, it's hard to judge here, but I'm going to have to side with the opinion that is not an appropriate workplace outfit, especially for an interview. You're going in blind, you don't know the culture of the workplace, but you can go with a baseline neutral and conservative middle of the road outfit. This isn't even female centric shaming. If a dude showed up to an interview in shorts and boat shoes, for example, he'd just as easily be shown the door. Look like you're a serious person. Yeah, this one really charged people up, I think, this topic. What I think is interesting, I still feel the same way, which is like, I wouldn't have done it. If you can live with the consequences, then fine. Do what the fuck you want to do.
You can live with the consequences.
I think once they tell you go home and change, that tells you what kind of workplace it is.
Yeah, that tells you the expectations, right?
So you get to decide if you want to work there. And what I find more interesting than anything is, once again, with content, sharing that online is more of an interesting choice than the just saying I didn't feel like doing the job. Like, I didn't want to come back and do it, so I didn't do it. Because then once you share it online, and this is why, I see people get into it with each other over these opinions, but I normally don't really get into it with each other over these opinions, because once they shared it online, you just threw me into a lion's den. And of course, motherfuckers in this environment are going to say some absolutely ridiculous things on either side of the argument. You don't have people being like, you should be able to go butt naked to an interview. I mean, fuck them, it's just work. And then you're gonna have people in there that's like, you don't wear a 5-piece suit. And at the end of the day,
most people are in the middle,
right? But at the end of the day, it's just more of a like, if you feel like you can live with not getting a job, I don't care. And to me, her attitude was one of, I don't really need this job. I've been in positions in life where I've interviewed for jobs I didn't need, and it was totally different than a job I need. It's like, I need this motherfucking job. This interview got to go good. And so I think if I showed up to an interview where I had to have it, I'd rather be overdressed and then and find out the workplace is relaxed than to be underdressed in the interview and not get the job, you know? So that's just me. But yeah, I understand. I don't think anyone is wrong in these. I think people feel strongly, but everyone is going to be right in the way that they're right, because we're having to manufacture a lot of context that she didn't provide that we can't possibly know.
Agreed. And it's also one of the things where she's not the first. It won't be the last person to do this. A lot of people just don't put this shit online. There's plenty of people that go into job interviews like that, and they just go through the process. Like I said, all types of stuff. What job?
I don't know if there's plenty of people that wear shorts to an interview, but I mean, yeah, it's just, you're right. It's just so much we have to interject. I don't know,
right?
Because if she told me she wore that to a McDonald's interview, I'd be like, she's overdressed. You know, it just depends on the job. I'm assuming it's a certain type of job that if once they said they didn't want her wearing like shorts to the thing, I'm like, okay, that's probably a certain type of job, but I don't actually fucking know. You know, and all kinds of jobs got dress codes and shit. When I was a waiter, there was a dress code. You know, and yeah, you can feel like it's bullshit, but that's the fucking rules. And some of the bullshit has different choices than just of can you do the job. So like certain restaurants want to have an aesthetic. And so they're like, okay, we want all our waiters wearing black button-up shirt, black slacks, black shoes, black socks. And I've been to restaurants where everybody's wearing that, and it did have an effect. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, this is a nice place. I've also been to places where it was chillax and everybody was wearing what they want to, and your server might have short shorts and the other one might have on overalls, and it was a relaxed environment. It was just a different eclectic type of place.
Yes.
I mean, all this stuff matters, you know, but it shouldn't be a big deal, I don't think. Let's see. Ramsey D. Jenkins says 5 stars, but not for those people claiming to carry some man juices and shit is not demure. Ugh, this country and its people. I'm tired.
Right.
Julian says, years ago, I had a conversation with my cousin that always stayed with me. He was upset when I suggested that he might need to cut his locks, as it was still a significant factor in job interviews back then. Mind you, this was for a conservative industry, think engineering or an architecture firm. He got heated and said, so you just gonna conform and not be your authentic self? And I responded, no. Authenticity is for my friends and family. These companies have a culture / look that they want their employees to fit. I know what industry I'm in, and for this paycheck, you're going to get corporate black man, and who lets them think I'm their friend. Yep, that's how I've always handled it for the most part.
And also, I've always looked at jobs pay you not to do shit. I think people don't understand that concept. Yeah, they pay you to do shit, but they also pay you not to do shit.
Yep.
It's the contract is, if I give you this check, I expect certain things as long as you perform your job. I expect, this, that, and the other. Is it fair? If it's right, who gives a fuck? If you want this bi-weekly, a monthly deposit, these are the expectations. And guess what? You don't have to do this. Somebody else will, and you have to live with the consequences of not getting those jobs.
Yeah, like I said, once, because you can take the sting out of all of this by just saying, if you're willing to deal with whatever comes with these stances, then and honestly, guys, it's a life lesson. It's not just for jobs. It's pretty much for everything in life. That, like, I wouldn't even call it advice. I just think it's a point of view, and it'll make you stop being upset or like so charged up about people who make different choices than you. If they're willing to live with the consequences of those choices, it's not like you can control those people. So it is what it is. Like, okay, and as long as they're not hurting someone else, okay, I can think it's silly for whatever reasons, and they can be dead right, by the way. They can be absolutely right. I would say this even about the girl with the shorts. She's right in that, man, why does this matter so much to a job where I'm just gonna be sitting in a cubicle doing whatever?
Agreed.
She's right, but a lot of motherfuckers are right about shit that's just, it don't matter. Societally, we have not settled on that.
Right.
So you gonna have to navigate society disagreeing. Are you willing to do that? You could. I mean, I've worked at jobs that had dress codes and people just stopped dressing by the dress code, and some got in trouble and some didn't. It is what it is. Like, the motherfuckers was willing to deal with it. I used to work with a black lady that wore bodycon dresses to work with her hair silver and platinum all the time, and just and she just did what the fuck she want, and everybody in the office knew she was wearing shit that they said not to wear, and nobody gave a fuck at the end of the day. Like, some people would point it out, but whatever happened between her and HR is her business. I just know she was working there when I was working there, and everything seemed okay to her. So if motherfuckers was looking at her funny or pulling her in the office, she ain't seem to give a fuck. So you don't have to give a fuck about any of this. Corporate America taught me something early in my career that I still carry with me in many decisions. Do you want to be right or do you want to be effective? You're lucky that when you could be both. A lesson with season 1 Auntie Nisi learned. Appia says, the dress code in my industry got way more relaxed. I wear only sports shoes or Doc Martens, for example, and dresses in the summer. When I started, a dark pantsuit was the way to go, and lady shoes. I'm glad this is over, but shorts are something more. If you are unsure, wear regular pants, especially for the interview. That's the other thing. I don't think she was asking for advice. But if you put something on the internet, she was asking for advice, but she was asking for opinions,
and she got them.
So that's why I can't be mad at none of the responses that she got, because you put this on the internet and said ollie ollie oxen free. Some motherfuckers gonna come for your neck. That's just the way the fucking shit is.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
And also I think that corporate America has changed just a little bit. Like, it ain't quote unquote as free as everybody wanted to be, but in certain industries in corporate America, it ain't as tight as it used to be. You have a lot of companies that are like just business casual all the time. You have some companies that's like you could wear blue jeans every day. You have some companies that go you could wear tennis shoes. You know, it just depends on the environment, you know, that you're in, and about your, you know, some companies are like, hey, we don't meet clients, we don't meet customers. All we do is just sit at these goddamn desks. Let's have people be comfortable and things like that, you know, so that if they're happy, we get more productivity out of them and all that type of stuff, you know. So this involved natural hair is more acceptable in some environments. Color is more acceptable in some corporate environments. So no, it ain't where people quote unquote want it to be, but also I don't want it to be a free for all either. You know, I do understand some of the rules and regulations. Like, I actually do understand some of them. We don't want you naked. Like, that makes sense, you know, because we're in a working environment and you got people from all over the place, you know. So it's like one of these things where the extremes on both sides, they go at each other's throats so hard when at the end of the day, the average person is in the middle.
Yeah. EV says, I think the bigger issue with the shorts isn't so much that she wore shorts to the interview, but that the recruiter suggested she changed and the woman refused. I think if it's the type of job that would be okay with shorts, I don't think they would have said anything. Well, yeah, that's obvious. She could be flagged as someone would see as a problem. She could, but they did offer her to come back as an interview, you know. I think and also, like, you don't know her personal situation. I could see her being like, that means I got to go home and I got to do this and I got to do that. Can we just do the interview or not, you know? But also, it's a recruiter. It's their prerogative to not take you on as a client. If they feel like, yeah, the jobs that I would pass you along to, I don't want this to be a thing. And it does reflect on me and my judgment that I sent you to a job that I knew wasn't this type of casual environment, and it would make it seem like I wasn't doing my due diligence. So I can see all sides of this have choices, and I don't think anybody has to make the wrong choice. It could just not be a match.
Agreed. And I reading TPS's comment, and sometimes it's very frustrating, particularly being a woman, because a lot of the quote unquote dress codes are targeted at women. like it's
I agree,
targeted at women.
What do you think about the person that wrote in earlier that said even if it was a man that wore shorts, this conversation would still be happening though to an interview?
And that one I agree, because it's shorts.
Like in this one, I don't see it as just a gendered thing, because I feel like shorts would be inappropriate to most people.
Agreed.
Period. For like, or just, I shouldn't even say inappropriate, but it would be something to discuss. If a man posted this, people would still be like, what, you wore that? Now some people might flip sides because of gender issues and all that stuff, but right. I'm not talking about them. She goes on to say, that being said, I think this is all just for content anyway, because it seems like this is what her entire page is about. So I'm not even sure if this was too. Oh, really? See, I saw the one video on her YouTube, but I don't know what her content is. That makes sense though, if it's just content, because I mean,
this is one that happened to go wildly viral.
People get played like this all the time, so it makes sense. Prafty says, hi, Rod and Karen. I fall in the wear what you have to keep the job camp. I have to wear a tie and business attire to teach kids who don't care to be educated. It's archaic and for the optics of professionalism, but I get paid to do it. Appropriate for work seems much more difficult for women, but to die on this hill means accepting the consequences of the objective reality in front of you. When teaching kids this, they want to protest and go against the rule, but not suffer the consequences. I'm not suggesting she die on this hill quietly, but to expect support from taking a principled stand of her choosing seems a stretch. P.S. The Who News and the new banter intros are absolute bops. Every time I hear them, I break out into a mini dance party. Amazing creations. Yes. Shout out. Sailor Agnes says, Karen, Tiger Bomb is that shit.
Ain't it though?
It's almost like a mini massage. Them big niggas from the Vicks commercials calling that white dude my pasty friend should have made a killing getting those checks is good shit.
I love and I ain't seen nothing. And Tiger Bomb been around forever. I've never seen the Tiger Bomb commercial, but everybody talk about that shit exists somewhere.
On YouTube, we got some comments. Cali bruh Mike says, the dumbest part about Trump's speech on Israel is that he and his supporters don't have one iota of facts about Israel and why the U.S. has been Israel's big brother. His regular supporters, the majority that don't read past headlines or listen to anything but Fox News and racist ass white right-wing podcasts, know anything accurate about the history of the Jewish or the Palestinians. This is why we can't afford another shitbag Trump and his supporters ignorance term. Yeah, I think it was so interesting, the DNC. I talked about it with Karen Hunter a little bit yesterday, but we obviously haven't had a chance to talk about it on our show since watching the night that Kamala Harris spoke, that everybody thought Beyonce was showing up for some fucking reason, because of leaks and all this shit. My quick thoughts on it are this. Number one, I love Beyonce. I really do. We went to see the Renaissance concert. It was amazing. That being said, it's kind of sad and cynical that motherfuckers tuned in hoping she would show up and would not have watched otherwise.
Right.
When it is, at this point, the only party interested in truly governing our country. It's their showcase of their young talent, their up and coming people who are going to make the policies that control our country. And it's funny that I've said this on the show a million times. We treat politicians like celebrities. We treat celebrities like politicians. Right. And people tuned in to see celebrity. And some people were upset that there were celebrity people throughout the DNC. But I said, I mean, that's where our culture is now.
Yes, sir.
Our culture is not one that goes, why the fuck would I care if Taylor Swift has a point of view on something? She's just an artist.
Right.
We're not that country anymore. We actually treat those people more like a politician. Like, she needs to put out a statement.
More serious. They don't cast now one vote in the Congress nor the Senate.
Yeah, it's like, when is Lizzo gonna weigh in on this conflict? And it's like, that is a weird thing for you to think, and says something about our value system as Americans, as consumers. And honestly, it's probably, and I don't think people think about this because many of these people will call themselves some level of anti-capitalist or socialist or something. But let me tell you something, at least the way I view it. I can't think of a more capitalistic way to view things than to be like, because I consume your art, I need you to weigh in on political stuff as if you have a actual job of doing that. I maybe that's why I can listen to artists that people are like, I would never listen to, because I'm like, I would never really listen to their politics.
Right.
So like, you know, it's nice if they have, like, I love when someone says something I agree with, loud and bold. I love it. But I also don't give a fuck if they don't say anything. And I hate when they say shit I disagree with.
Right.
So if I can I'll take the happy medium of those motherfuckers not saying shit, to be honest.
Yep. Don't say none at all.
But that was just one thing. The second part of it was very well done. I don't think people really understand the undertaking this must have been to not know she would be the nominee a month ago and to pull this thing off without a hitch.
The organization.
It's just I just don't think people understand. It's damn near miraculous that this happened. The people that put this together, and the docket and the people on the dais, I can't even imagine. And then the last thing is because online is going to always trend towards negative, no matter how good or whatever people do. It's always going to be like, but what about this? What about that? And the thing for this one was, of course, well, they didn't have like a Palestinian come up and speak and talk about Palestine. And I think, I understand why people would feel that way. I think if you're trying to coordinate a conference, it's mostly propaganda and it's mostly trying to keep it a party. And I don't mean that party like, yay. I mean party like this is our Democratic Party, and you're just trying to highlight the positives and the goodness and the hope and the this, right? But I think no one considered maybe she would want to weigh in on that herself and not have somebody come in and speak to it. And there's bigger issues as to why that didn't happen too. There's a lot of, I think, anticipation that there would be this stifling amount of protesters outside that would make it so that the entire event basically became a big ass like wet just a letdown. But they just didn't have the numbers, and they didn't show up in the way people thought, and they weren't able to march out and really be the distraction they wanted to be. This is not me passing any judgment. I'm not mocking anybody. I just think this is what happened. The numbers weren't there to truly make it like this overwhelming, hey, you guys are the party that is in the White House, you need to make something happen. And because they didn't have those numbers, I think that it shifted halfway through the week when they realized, we're not going to truly be able to like disrupt this thing. I think it switched to like, well then can we speak? And it's probably too late. To like at that point, it's probably too late. Like if you weren't already making those inroads to speak
in advance,
weeks ago,
right, when they was putting this shit together.
And by weeks ago, I don't mean when Kamala became the nominee. I mean probably when Biden was still president,
right,
or still the nominee. You probably need to be making those inroads a long time ago. I mean, it's been since October, so probably months ago. Of like, here's the person we would like to speak. Here's what they would like to say. That and it's gonna have to be vetted. It's probably you have to build a trusting relationship, because I'm sure it would be very tempting for a person to get up there and be like, yeah, I know what I said I was gonna say, but fuck that. Which I wouldn't blame them, but I understand why there would be a lack of trust on both sides. So it's like, well, then we don't want to put you up there, and then and all that shit. So I think that kind of it was always a long shot for that to happen. But I did appreciate the stuff she said about Palestine. I was not surprised that she said it, but I was enthusiastic and hopeful that and look, this could all just be cynical political parsing and phrasing on her part, and which that's her job. I wouldn't blame her and her speechwriters if that was the case, but she made me believe that if she was president, she might take a different tactic than what we're seeing with Biden at the helm. They are of a different generation of each other. Biden saw the creation of like Israel, basically, or if he didn't, actually, I think he did see it, if I'm not mistaken. There's a different level of attachment to people that went through that era.
Yes.
Than the people that grew up with it already existing.
Right.
So I think his attachment is different than even hers, and obviously than younger people. And I understand it's a complicated situation, and I can't possibly explain all of it to y'all, because I don't even understand everything. But yeah, I thought that was interesting that no one had considered maybe she wants to talk about it, because the whole thing was like, it just won't be talked about. No one's gonna say anything about it, and it was dope that she did. And that's something I don't think people would expect, because you think she would play it safe. and be like, because I know the advisors advise her the same way they tell, other, like, don't tell them on this shit. But so I have no choice but to assume that these are topics that matter to her, because she doesn't have to broach any of them. She could just keep the feel good vibes going. And that was a very difficult portion of the speech, and she navigated it pretty well, I thought. Nothing's gonna ever make anyone feel great in that segment, period. Even if you get exactly what you think you want from like the protester angle, it won't make everyone feel great. That's not an everyone feel great topic. That's one of those, if you the leader of this nation, you gonna have to take some hits, and you gonna take hits no matter what the outcome of that is. But yeah, so anyway, I enjoyed that part of her speech a lot, and I enjoyed the general production of the DNC. I thought it was great. All right, Angela says, preach, Rod. Oh wait, sorry, we got more. Okay, so come through with the theme song for Banner Talk to Me, says Ramsey PH Dunn. Hugh Gordon says the internet is definitely not your friend when it comes to career advice. They don't know you and only care about how much clout they can get from your life. At best, they'll ignore you. Worst cases, they'll pretend to be on your side, then clown you later for following the same advice they gave you earlier.
Yes, they will.
Through the fire, says JV City. Angela says, preach, Rod, and Karen, the leader of the protest, was outside the DNC today saying both parties are equally bad and that they won't accept responsibility if Trump wins. He said it would be Harris's fault if she lost. This was a response to a reporter asking whether they thought their protest would help Trump win. There is also some TikTok kerfuffle when I think of a pro-Palestine creator was giving a black woman guff for not being unwilling to not vote for Kamala as a sign of support for Gaza. These folks can be unreasonable and insufferable in their position regarding the election. Planning to bulldoze Gaza and its people to develop the beachfront property is not the same as just trying to get a ceasefire. I understand protesting and voting for harm reduction and to save your people in the U.S. while protesting. I hope a lot of them do that, but then maybe they like Muslim bans, racism, and misogyny. Thank you for highlighting this issue in reality as it stands. Yeah, and see, I have purposely been avoiding and not participating in the videos and stuff of this, because a lot of that stuff is heavily skewed. Like I forget who it was. I think Michael Harriot weighed in on this. He wrote an article, and then later he had to go write a thread to kind of, I wouldn't necessarily retract the article, but to add some context to the article to say, hey, when I said that black people in America have to also think about themselves, and obviously voting Democrat is the best option for a black American, it's not even fucking close. Low key is also the best option for a Palestinian, even if it's not an ideal option, right? But he had to go and clarify to say, like, I'm not saying you have to choose between the two. We shouldn't have to choose. We should be able to elect Democrats and then hold their feet to the fire and say we want to cease fire and we don't want to like arm Israel to continue to carry out this assault on the Gaza Strip, right? And so I saw someone share a video in reply to him, and it's clearly like a person that probably has spent all day arguing about this online, and the video was like, yeah, but how can we help them when we say the parties aren't the same, but look at this. And it was protesters yelling the names of people who had died at people who were entering the DNC, and some of the people being yelled at covered their ears. Now, it was a 10-second video. I'd imagine not everyone covered their ears. You had to yell for a while, because it wasn't like everyone even in this clip covered their ears. There's like two people. And they used this like they're covering their ears from us yelling, because that means they don't care. They're just same as Republicans. And I'm like, that framing is so manipulated and so out of context. It could be a person literally just covering their ears because you're yelling anything. It could be something they agree with and you're still yelling at them for however long. It could be someone who agrees on your side and you're yelling at them and they're like, okay, but I don't want to be yelled at. But it was that symbol of that 5 seconds was supposed to mean something because we're on the internet and we're supposed to extrapolate everything. And I say that with that specific example, but I feel similar to when people share videos and it's like, look at these protesters clashing, they beat up this kid. And I'm like, is that what the protests are? Are the protesters just showing up and beating up Jewish kids all over the world?
Right.
That's all it is. They don't really care about Palestine. They just hate Jewish people. Or are you showing me a clip and I'm supposed to have an emotional response? Because why would I ever not have an emotional response to someone being assaulted? But I'm supposed to go, well, fuck that cause. I'm now on the side of Bibi Netanyahu. That's what you really, truly want me to say. Or to not care. And it's just, I'm just trying to stay aware of the amount of manipulation that is happening.
Yes.
But yeah, I it's not gonna make anyone feel good, whatever the resolution of this is. It won't be something you celebrate, period. So but it's just part of being the biggest imperialistic, capitalistic enterprise in the world. My mom said banter song is a bop. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right, let me play some music and then we'll wrap it up with the last 2 episodes so I can drink some water. All right, the next episode is... Oh, wait, did I say the poll? I did not say the poll. Are you... What's the poll? Oh, have you ever won shorts to an in-person job interview? Yeah, 96% of people have not. 4% people have. I asked that question because I just want people to understand. When she asked that question, that's the environment you're asking the question. And we got a pretty progressive audience. It is abnormal what she's doing, so I can't anyone pushing back against it, I can't really blame them because that is some odd shit to do. You're the outlier. Should it be considered odd? Probably not, but you are. And yeah, I didn't find anything wrong with her outfit, but that's also my personal taste.
Yes,
meaning that if a person showed up in basketball shorts, there'd be somebody else out there like, hey, not those shorts.
This is athletic gear.
Yeah. We got 10 comments for episode 2962. Here come the judge. Erica says the new banter music is fire. If only I could get to a studio, I'd love to contribute to the show. I'm glad Rod had a decent experience at the DMV. I'll never forget the 6-hour ordeal I had to endure to obtain my NC license. I was able to update my address online this year. I don't mind the hot temps because I had this good old AC. The only thing I'm not looking forward to is getting darker earlier. So ready for the pumpkin spice lattes. Yes. Abia says, we had the best summer in years this year, and by that I mean it wasn't very hot. When we had 2 hotter days, the third it rained, it was mostly about 80 American degrees at max. This was so great. The plants got enough water and growed a lot. Still, when I read American press about the weather in Europe, it was only about extreme heat, and this wasn't our experience at all this year in Germany, so it was so nice this year. By the way, spouses speaking for political candidates is something we do not have here. And even if I really enjoyed Kamala's husband speaking or Michelle Obama, overall, I think the spouse has no official job and it's better not to involve them. But I know it's American culture and the speeches were great. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, it really more sticks out when you see somebody that's speaking because they're a spouse and you're like, they have no business speaking. Like when Melania Trump gave speeches, it was like,
she had no business speaking.
Why is she even talking? No one gives a fuck what her political stance is on anything, and she can't do it well.
No, and her speeches a lot of times just mimic Michelle's Obama.
I don't know about a lot of times. I thought it was one time, and we caught her. It was a lot.
One time. Well, one time is enough for me. Write your own shit.
I know. It's just funny because I definitely remember she copied off that homework, and I don't remember it being like a multiple time thing because I feel like it only got to happen once for me to be like, I can't believe the nerve.
The nerve, child.
Sean says, listen to Karen's reluctance to say I don't know made me think, was our generation traumatized by the you can't do that on television to the degree that we have an irrational fear of saying I don't know, or is it just me? I don't know. and then I just get slimed. That would be a hilarious joke. If I was a different type of person, I would have had slime in a bucket above me that slimed me when I said that. And for the 6 people that remember those joke, that would have been hilarious.
I do.
Bad Biscuit says, Karen's little lies cracked me up. My wife complains about me doing the same. I don't know if I'm a people pleaser or what. I also do the I'll be there in 10 minutes when the reality is 30. I'll say I'm around the corner when I'm not, or I'll say I'm on the way, but I'm just getting out the shower. Ugh, I hate those people. My wife says, just tell the truth. No one will get mad. She is right. I've gotten better by just saying what is true. It's practice, Karen, but you can do it. It's hard, though. All right. Matt Nashville says, sad to hear the Acolyte got canceled, and I too avoid a lot of online banter in the nerd sphere. Curious if you're familiar with the podcast Yub Nub. What? Nigga, I worked with one of the people from Yub Nub, and I've had 2 of them on the show already.
They might not know.
You right. I don't know why I got offended.
I was like, you might not know, baby.
I was like, nigga, what you trying to say? You trying to question my nerd, nigga?
Nerd off.
Greg was on here. We talked about Yub Nub and Star Wars. But yeah, no, I've had we've had I think Greg and I think Tim on. I'm not sure if Greg still hosts on the regular. I think he also wrote an episode of Skeleton Crew recently, so like they're doing big things over there, so shout out to them. I feel you would appreciate their takes, and I love to hear you guest on their show or have one of them on, because I love it when my faves get together. Well, they've never had me on their show, but like I said, we've had Greg and Tim on our show separately though, so not at the same time. So I would have to, I could probably go search to tell you which. Yeah, episode 2561, Greg Iwinski is from 2 years ago in July, and we talked about his Phoenix Suns. It's like, you know, it's like an interview about his life story and stuff, and we talked about the podcast and all that stuff too. So we've had him on, and I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on Tim's last name, but we had Tim on the show too, and he was a cool guest. Man, I would have to. Sorry, I'm trying to search it right now, and it's just Tim is such a, because then every time it says time is in here. You see what I'm saying? So
it all blends together.
Yeah, I need to go and look up his last name and then come back.
Yeah,
but
because they do the search, you be like, with the E? No, that is not Tim. That's time. Completely different word. Search.
Yeah. So at any rate, though, we've had him on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ronan Raphael says, now that Judge Lavelle's story kept sounding like a wild random Netflix movie that I just found without searching for it. Yeah, well, you fucked the deputy, the bailiffs. I was going to recommend that he resign on the condition that he gets to keep the table, with which he brought 2 bailiffs to.
And I just laugh. He said he gets to keep the table.
Yeah.
He was bending them over on.
With which he brought 2 bailiffs to justice on.
Oh no!
He could have had a career on OnlyFans. Then I heard his gun offenses. Yeah, go to jail might be a better solution. I agree. AOC is smart, says Keith, and definitely realized her political career was at a crossroads, and that associating herself with the DSA was a dead end because they're a bunch of phonies and losers who would rather be publicly seen being indignant about things rather than to actually do anything about them. Forgive me if I've commented this on the wrong episode, by the way. I meant to make this comment earlier in the week, but you spent the next 5 minutes talking shit about the DSA and saying what I wanted to say while I was making a comment in my head, and I forgot to do it. Anyway, they turned on AOC because she matured and figured out how to be a more effective politician, and that's just not something they do. There's a reason they have almost no actual political power. They forfeit the game because they even agree to start playing, and then spend the rest of the time complaining about how unfair it is that everyone else is playing the game without them. Yeah, I agree. I agree. The other thing you have to consider is the loudest voices for the DSA that we see is kind of skewed. So I don't want to say them as a organization have this issue, because maybe the organization is different, but the ones we always happen to see are your podcasters, your social media accounts, your like your people that are kind of blowhards or whatever. Well, we can't forget their money is in the grift, in the obstruction, in the contrarianism. Though, like the some of those people would cease to make money if they truly said, you know what? Actually, this policy is a good policy, and I appreciate that they did that. No. They have to always be like, the Democrats are as bad as the Republicans. Matter of fact, they're worse. We should stop the Democrats. If that means Republicans take power, oh well, it's not our fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's their own fault. So I can see how people would, kind of feel a certain way about that shit. But anyway, all right. EVE says, Karen is honest to the bone. I don't believe she lies. You're making that up, Rod. Stop lying on our queen. I hope George Santos and Cornel West are names we never hear again after 2024. Fuck both of them. They'll be back.
Yeah, they grifters. That's what grifters do.
Sandler Agnes says, on the matter of the acolyte getting canned and people shitting. Oh, that was another thing. Cornel West was outside the fucking DNC protesting, talking about the black agenda. First of all, nigga, you're not even on the ballot. You need to be getting yourself back on the ballot, right? And then to flip it to this black agenda bullshit this late in the game. I don't know if anyone has ever fallen as far out of favor to me as he has.
It's bad. Like the tumble has been terrible. He literally just be one of the most respected black academics out there. To people that are like, nigga, you?
Like now if I'm being fair, I'm being honest, I was never a Cornell guy. Okay? And I've always had a little bit of misgivings about him. Even when I would see him on Bill Maher's show, I was a little bit like, it's so flamboyant and over the top. What's the substance? But, he was like a lot of white people's favorite black academic.
Right.
Which is cool, but also like, there's ego involved with that and all that shit. But when I saw this nigga in the motherfucking Matrix 2, I don't know, bro. My spider sense started tingling.
Like, something about this ain't right.
My spider sense started tingling. I was like, I don't know about this guy. That's a wild move. Why would you even want to be in that? But anyway, and then he put out a rap album. So yeah, he's a wild guy. But I'll tell you this:
a grifter.
I don't feel wrong. This last year and some change of him and the like child support shit, and then the protest, and then running as president, but moving to another party to run as president, then not being able to be on the ballot, then Republican lawyers being the ones to try to keep you on the ballot, and then you outside the DNC protesting. Now it's about the black agenda. My nigga, what are you doing?
Right.
I mean, my dear brother, what are you doing? I found it. The episode was with Tim Barnes, episode 2553, Stay Inside Kids, where we discussed his upbringing and his life and working on late night show and all that stuff. So we had Tim and Greg on. So bam,
Yay!
in your face. All right, back to this. Damn, saying like you ain't putting too many paragraphs in this one. All right. This shit just like one block of text.
One big block.
It's long too.
Space it.
Here we go. On the matter of the acolyte getting canned and people shitting on IPs just to do it, Just reminds me of how right Ben Affleck was in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back about people bitching about movies. For the record, haven't watched the show yet. I'm just sick to death of the disingenuous of Marvel, Star Wars, DC, so on. Even people I respect who look at these things with disdain, I'm bored of them. Not as people, but their opinions. I was sick of this in 2001 when there was this very topic when Rush Hour 2 and the Planet of the Apes remake were having over 50% week 2 drop-offs, and fucking Access Hollywood and newspapers were calling for a conversation on the is the box office in trouble or some variation of that conversation. There's no middle ground anymore. For instance, I too thought Alien Romulus was just fine, a nice ode to the first 2 movies, nothing more, but we don't do middle ground. Everything is either gender wars, something being too traumatic, too black, it's too much everywhere. There's very little gray that could allow for nuanced conversations. I'm hot taked the fuck out, except for your Stephen A. Smith impression on the MC University podcast. That fucking rude. Yeah, check out MC University episode, the latest one. I was on it. It was about hot takes. And I did my very limited, not that great Stephen A. Smith impression, but it was very fun. They didn't expect it. They didn't see it coming. I didn't tell them I was going to do it. I just waited until we officially started recording, and I just started doing a bunch of just Stephen A. Smithism hot takes. And it was so fun to do. And I'm so proud of it. And I stayed in character like the whole hour and a half. My voice hurt the next day. But if you like nerd stuff and you like those horrible sports take TV shows like First Take, I feel like it's for you. Matter of fact, they put up a new clip this morning. This is my first hot take out the gate about Captain America Steve Rogers and Chris Evans. Quite a few hot takes, but the first hot take that I have, and I love this brother to death. Okay, he's America's ass, but he's also, you know, a great actor and a great character in Steve Rogers and Chris Evans. But however, Captain America is a man that is born in the 1920s or 1900s, or early 1900s or something like that. That fought in the World War. Now, it is no way you can freeze a white man from that time. And I'm going to say it. I know I'm the AC. Okay, Jake. Okay, I see y'all on camera. I can see the faces y'all are making right now. I'm saying it so you don't have to say it. So don't, America, you could come for me, don't come for them. But Steve Rogers should be racist. Why isn't he a Republican? Why isn't he a conservative? What have the Republicans ever done for the Avengers in this world? The Democrats aren't doing anything. They're trying to get their identification and lock them up. They're chasing them around the globe. They're passing protocols. I don't understand this entire ordeal that's happening with Steve. He should have looked up. He should have saw Sam and said, go get me a sandwich as soon as he woke up. There's no way he would have woke up to Nick Fury and said, you know what, Sam Jackson, we're cool. I'm listening to you. It only made sense when he ran from him. That's the only time that the Avengers made sense with Captain America. That's my hot take.
Jake, do you have any thoughts?
No, you know, I think that I'll say this. We still know that he's not a Republican, because a lot of Republicans will not say racist stuff to the faces of people of color and still vote that way. But no, I think he makes some excellent points. You know, I think because he was, you know, he went into the ice before, because he's from Brooklyn, obviously, but he went into the ice before the Dodgers integrated, so we can't even use that. So you make it's a good point.
So it was just like that for 2 hours. I had so much fun.
I gotta sit down and listen to that.
Yeah, I had so much fun.
That's
it was
fucking
awesome.
hilarious.
But yeah, back to this. He said, I always liked Age of Ultron, Thor 4, Star Trek Into the Darkness, Furioso, The Photograph, The Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Quantum of Solace, Iron Man 3, and countless others. While recognizing their individual flaws, some are a range of decent to exceptional. I don't want to overpenalize Ultron for a piss poor Hulk and Black Widow love story when it does a lot so well. Even breaking some fourth wall shit with Joss Whedon as a person. It was always a damn good film. Just some nerds have to be pedantic ninnies because they thought Wakanda was supposed to be in the film when it wasn't. I'll even put in the soon to be a decade old Arkham Knight for the hell of it, and time seems like to have come back to it, especially with that Suicide Squad game shit in the bed for WB and Rocksteady. I'm admittedly rambling. These things usually do because it's the same damn thing, and even I have to ask myself, am I tripping or is this that internet shit, which it is most of the time. There's shit I don't like either, but like that terrible Borderlands film. But like Bryant Gumbel doing real sports for many years, let's move on. Furiosa, for as great as it was and bombing at the box office, wasn't the end of cinema. Neither is Borderlands. Quantumania or The Flash, some things work or they don't. That's life. What will end the theater realistically is what fucks up all things: greed and unchecked hubris, and that's a constant. Take it easy, y'all. Thanks, man. That was good. I like I said, I think yeah, I think we're just speaking hyperbole now. I mean, it's what you have to do to kind of move the needle, and I think that is no exception for this. Is a lot of talk about like the award shows and Oscars and the box office. It's just all hyperbole now, and I think I'm just so tired of it because like, how long can I do hyperbole? At some point, I'm just like, fam, it can't be as serious as you're saying.
No, it can't be, and I know I'm anxious. I enjoy going to the movies. I enjoy the experience. I really do. I understand why people opt not to because it ain't cheap. So for a lot of people, they were like, dog, I ain't got $100 to drop for me and my family of four to go to the movie theaters, and we not even talking about treats or popcorn and shit. We probably just talking about just open admission, depending on where you are in the country. They're like, that's too much.
All right, let's get to the comments on YouTube. JV City says 1 minute and 08 second true, and then another minute mark. Say it for the people in the back. I fell for the Jill Stein in 2016. I appreciate you admitting it. I feel like we are not doing ourselves any favor by those people just disappearing.
Right.
I like it when people pop up like, nah, I learned the lesson. They got me. All right,
that's
I'm back.
life. Let's fuck up.
I think this is a Neegwal who says, I love Tracy Dion's Legendborn books. I have not checked out the audiobook for the series, so thanks for the recommendation. The third book in the Legendborn series comes out in March next year, which I'm very excited for.
Oh, I think I'm in the first one. I don't know. I have to go see.
Why's a bunch of letters says, leave us a 5-star review or leave us alone, laughing emojis. And y'all did it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now y'all can join everybody else and look at your family and friends and judge them. Whenever you leave a 5-star review, it is right on time.
Hugh Gordon says Rod and Karen continue to spit facts about so many topics from culture to sports and even more behind the velvet paywall. Speaking of the DNC, having black-owned businesses like Black Opal and Fashion Fair doing makeup for every presenter shows that representation is important and isn't just about culture. It's also about providing economic opportunities that wouldn't exist otherwise. That's facts. And like, I saw one of the, maybe it was Black Opal or somebody, but they had been on one of those Shark Tank shows, and they had an advertisement that said like, I got rejected on Shark Tank and now I got 2 million units sold. Like, the motherfuckers didn't know what they was talking about. They didn't see the value in it. And there's a clip going around where they say one of the dudes called them cockroaches or something racist. I didn't play the clip. That's crazy if that was on TV. What the fuck was happening? But yeah, it's just, that is cool, and that's one of those things that I think people don't think about how much, and they can do more. So don't get me feeling, I don't want people feeling like I'm just like, the Democrats are the perfect party. But I'm just saying, it is amazing how much they put behind what they do. And I think if you have a black woman in charge and as the candidate and some black staffers and stuff like that within the party, I think it'll lift every boat for real. Because black women always do. And I don't mean like every single individual black woman. I just mean as a show me the process that black women have been involved in that has not been improved in America.
Yeah, and also the thing about the Shark Tank thing is, like a lot of shit, they don't actually see us as a valuable audience. And when you go to them, if you don't quote unquote present them something that not trying to find it benefits white people, they have a tendency to just think that you are limiting your demographic, even though if it's reverse, they doing shit that, we don't benefit from. They don't look at that as limiting their audience at all. And so it's been several black companies that I've seen over the years that turned around and was like, they didn't offer me a lot, so I said no. Or they decline, and now I'm making all the money and I don't have to give them a percentage of it. Mm-hmm. Because when you over satisfy a demographic, they will be loyal, they will be dedicated to you. And a lot of times people have a tendency to underestimate a very small and loyal and dedicated fan base. They don't comprehend that. And I think that sometimes it's happened over and over again. It happened from things like they're talking to us like hair scarves, hair wraps. Because now you got white women out there discovering silk hair wraps for the first time, going, "Child, I ain't got to wake up with bedhead." And niggas is like, "No shit, that's why we do it, so our hair won't be flying everywhere." Shit like this, and they act like, "Oh my God, it's fucking brand new to them." And shit like this. It's like, yeah, this shit has literally been around forever. Y'all probably paying double or triple the price that we would have charged you because you don't know anything about, that quote unquote type of thing. And it could become very frustrating and almost insulting when we turn around and go to our audience directly and become billionaires because y'all just didn't want to take a chance.
Yep. And I think someone put in the chat, it's the lip bar.
I've heard of them.
Now they're in Target. So yeah, they turned them down and they didn't see the value, but they were wrong. All right, back to this. Jay Full says, Jay-Z's 40/40 Club is a reference to one of baseball's most exclusive clubs. It's players who hit 40 home runs and stole 40 bases in the same season. Only 5 players ever done it. And well, my dog Shohei Ohtani just made history tonight, joining the 40/40 Club. I saw that on SportsCenter last night, so looks like it's got one more person in it, 6, I guess. Alicia says, "Rod, where you be getting your shirts from? You need to add a outfit of the day section on the website, please, and thank you." I don't remember what shirt I was wearing for this one. My JD Vance couch Pornhub shirt. I get them from Teepublic a lot of the times, and we have a Teepublic store. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to actually link it to our YouTube. I gotta go do some technical behind the scenes stuff. Hopefully today or tomorrow, and so you will see more of the links to it. But I put a lot of the shirts I bought in the store on our store page, so you can get them yourself. Just search the Black Guy Who Tips or TBGWT on Teepublic. I'll go put the JD Vance one in there because I don't think I put that one in there yet. But yeah, I think whenever you see me wearing like a shirt like that, I'm typically from Teepublic. But I honestly get my shirts from all over the place. Mm-hmm. So if you see one that you really like, I guess let me know. I'll put it in our store for you, and then you can check it out. I just put it in the store just now. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed the shirt.
Me too.
Gina says, "Karen, can you recommend any comics to listen to? Thanks for telling us about the audio comics. I had no idea that these existed. I miss reading comics. That is really great, knowing that listening to them is now an option."
Yes, they have a Batman one with Tyrese Henry. Am I pronouncing that right? Tyrese, the actor. Isn't his name Tyrese Henry? From the show with Donald Glover. Ain't that dude name?
No, it's Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh, Brian Tyree Henry. Thank you.
Yes,
that's his name. He has been doing a Batman series. The best way for me, I found out, just search Marvel and DC, and they have like a slew of one. I've listened to some from Daredevil, some from Batman. they're all over the place. So just search Marvel and DC. Those are the two top. They probably have other ones too, but I know Marvel and DC, not trying funny, they have a tendency to spend a lot more money in their production and their actors. They have a lot of famous people that do a lot of acting on a lot of them. A lot of them have like 2 and 3 seasons. And you can just search in whatever application you're listening to. I do Spotify, but they normally probably put them on all the platforms. And or just Google, DC Comics audio books or Marvel comic audio books, and you probably have a slew of them like that. Start there and just branch out.
Yeah, I know Marvel also has some podcasts that are basically just audiobook comics. Wolverine The Long Night was the one I started on Apple, and I think they now have Wolverine The Lost Trail. But they have a bunch if you just put Marvel in. And they're pretty good. They're pretty good quality voice acting and sound design. Let's see. Last one is from Alexandria, who says, thanks y'all for the pod. This episode was so funny and so good. Hillary came out with a freshly thick bob and got her justice. I always say Hillary has been laughing about Trump since November 2020. She told us, and they didn't want to hear it. Yep. It's always funny when people think, and this is what's so dumb about misogyny, but it's so dumb about the way people vote too. And if you think like this, I just think the way you view life is so dumb. This idea that we're punishing the politician by not making them president is so fucking stupid.
It don't make sense.
It would be one thing if we were talking about people that just desperately needed to be president, or what else were they going to do with their lives. We're normally talking about some pretty rich, well-respected, established people that could easily just go be rich and well-established and not have to deal with any of this shit. And it's one thing when you say that about somebody that's just like a pure piece of shit like Donald Trump, where it's just like they're craving power mongers. There's no fucking, like, they would never make a policy that would benefit anyone but them and their cronies. Nigga, when you say it about somebody who's like, I'm just trying to get y'all free healthcare, it's like, aha, bitch, well, you'll never get to do that. Go soak in it. We showed you, whore. It's like,
right, and then we gotta listen to you cry because you ain't got no health care. Get the fuck out my face. It don't make sense.
But it's just how do you think that works? Do you really think somewhere, like, because Hillary is sad she didn't get to be president, but I guess I just have to settle on being a billionaire with 12 mansions. You got me. Oh man, whatever happens to the rest of us will not be as bad as what happens to these people, and then they're such babies, because then when you have like the Obamas who go, all right, we're gonna go do movie production and shit and mostly stay out of the politics realm, and the next generation and the other people get, now it's like, come back and save us. Why are you telling us what music you listen to? Come save us.
You don't give a fuck about what books you're reading.
Why do you have a production company? Like, what y'all were mad he was doing speeches,
right?
What the fuck do you want, you fucking babies? Do you think they were going to die after being president? They going to take a vow of poverty?
Right. No president has done that.
Grow up.
He's doing the same thing everybody else is doing.
Grow the fuck up. So it's just annoying. Anyway, I'm still sad over Biden, but very happy everyone is giving him his flowers. His presidency has done so much. As a diabetic, I always thank him when I pick up my insulin. Trump might not go to jail, but them other scammers are getting booked. And how is that man still a judge? He's acting like a Grand Theft Auto player, right? All right, so the last one, there's no YouTube post, just the episode, which reminds me I should open up to see if we got any voicemails. But so the last one is, and now we go low, 15 comments. I don't know why I thought this was gonna be a short show. 16 comments. Someone added a new one just now. All right, here we go. Appia says, I had countless sales training in the last 18 years, and 80% of the sales success is vibes, emotions, always. The facts are just there to justify the choice afterwards. It's how people are made. It is what it is. So keep the good vibes coming. This is the way to win. I agree. I don't think you're wrong at all. I think people been trying to like knock the DNC because they got to find some way to say it wasn't good. And it's all been like, joy is not a policy. It's like, well, she laid out some policy proposals.
Yes, she did.
But more importantly, hate is what the fuck the other side got. So this is what we got.
Right.
We got joy, bitch. That's what was left on the plate. We finna ride this joy out. And it seemed to be working. I don't know if you noticed, but the fucking crowds are full. The people are charged up. The money is flowing. The volunteers are showing up. We fighting on joy, nigga. Calm down. Pink Superhero says, I too couldn't get enough of the roll call. Watch my favorite states again. The next day, Georgia, with Lil Jon, Tennessee with state rep Justin Pearson, and my home state of New Jersey. The present votes were the uncommitted delegates. Delegates voted in by primary voters in the state to not support Biden and now Harris as a principled stand against the administration's lack of action to stop the humanitarian suffering in the Gaza Strip. Shoe Booty says, heck yeah, fellow New Jersey buddy. I'm from New Jersey and you're not while playing the boss peak Jersey. All they gotta do now is make Bon Jovi and Springsteen make out in front of the American flag. Lil Jon really did turn it out though. Like damn, this party is litty titty. I say litty two titties if we're being honest. Let me suck them titties, babe. Suave P says 100% agree with Rod in that Obama should have went last after Michelle. Michelle can do things in her speech that Barack cannot.
I said that.
No, you said Obama shouldn't have went last. You said Michelle should have went last.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So
yes.
Suave's on my side saying Obama should be the one to go last.
Oh, yes. I put it like this. That was my wish, but I understood the purpose because he's a former president. He has to go last. Yes.
She can tell things like it is on their behalf because she isn't a career politician. Right. It has no aspirations to be. Barack is the only act that could follow Michelle and still have you ending on a high because his goal of the night as a former president was to remind the masses that what a true statesman should and could be.
I agree.
So in essence, Michelle got us fired up, but Obama left us feeling that we as a nation can be hopeful again. I love both speeches equally. It was the perfect way to end the night tour of the DNC. Hats off to the event organizers and coordinators for putting together such a masterclass of a convention in an impossibly short time frame. Swab.
Yeah, like you said, in a very short time frame. Yeah. And they had a lot of people very tight. It was really good.
Sean says, I saw a couple clips of Blake Lively vids, and it looked to me like someone was trying to manufacture a grassroots, in quotes, hate campaign. I don't know. It just seems off. It worked with Amber Heard, but that one had some substance. I don't care enough about her to look too deeply into it. Yeah, I actually think the shit that worked with Amber Heard was kind of fucked up too, but if you're not perfect, we can make it very easy to hate a woman. And I see so many people pouring themselves into this shit, and I always kind of shake my head because I'm like, this is so manufactured. There are people out there that are just objectively they're trying to be horrible people. You know, Ann Coulter is trying to just be horrible every day she wakes up.
That's the goal.
I'm not going down a rabbit hole to hate Drew Barrymore. I'm sorry. But find some other shit to do with your life. You're not happy. It's not
right. You're not happy.
You don't hate this stranger you don't fucking know. You don't, because you don't know them.
Right. You don't
and
know
cherry
them.
picking little shit out of their lives to be like, but in this minute they weren't perfect. It feels like a hobby or something, like someone would be like how people do rabbit holes of fandom. Like, oh, Star Trek is my shit, so I'm really gonna deep dive into Star Trek. Except it's with people's lives and you're trying to find controversies. You look into anybody's life, there's gonna be some people that they didn't like working with, that didn't like working with them. It's gonna be, if you interview these people, there's gonna be an interview where it aged badly, but you know, at the time no one was mad. And people just turn it into like especially on TikTok, they've turned it into like a whole thing. Like it's a whole rabbit hole of, I found this one answer from this one time in this one interview. And I don't know. It feels manufactured to me as well because it's so arbitrary. And then when they like the motherfuckers, they can have the same shit and they be like, it's good to see people
they
grow.
Ignore the shit out
like,
of it.
I watch people that defend Will Smith slapping somebody, but be like, Blake Lively, right? I'm like, I don't know. Feel like both of these could be easily let go and understood, but you don't want to, so whatever.
Right.
I did go back and watch the Obama speech. I had only heard the audio and you were right. The gestures, facial reaction, and timing made it perfectly delivered joke with plausible deniability. Finally, I will add on your points regarding choice. Republicans haven't been a viable alternative in over half a century. Economy, 6 R presidents equals 7 recessions. 6 D presidents equal 1 recession. recession. Immigration, Republican militarization on the border, the interference in other countries via the CIA, increased asylum seekers and migrant laborers stuck in the country. Democrats, slightly less bad policies, decreases net immigration from asylum seekers and allows for more freedom of movement for migrant and temporary laborers. Crime, Nixon, do I need to say more? Reagan, SNL, Keaton 5, Iran Contra, etc. Bush Senior, treason, prevented the pre-election return of hostages in Iran, illegal invasion in Iraq, and more war crimes. Trump, convicted felon. Democrats, not such substantial to speak of for presidential crimes. Oh, and non-presidential crime also tends to go down under Democratic presidents. And that's before we're getting into the fact that every Republican presidential candidate other than Reagan, I don't know why you keep spelling Reagan to Raygun, because it's making me think of the Australian dancer. And I'm just getting confused.
Raygun out there.
I'm like, what the fuck she do? That's the second time. The first time I was like, what the fuck she do? Are you blaming Reagan on a Republican president? Because Reagan popped up under Biden.
Probably spell check.
Like you've been tweeting.
You mean Reagan?
You've been texting that much about Reagan that it's turned Reagan into Reagan.
Yes. Is
That's
this
crazy.
what you mean?
Anyway, that's before we get into the Reagan in the last half. Been Nepo babies, and both Reagan and Trump mismanaged disease outbreaks leading to the excess deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans. Republicans have to go on vibes because for the last half century, they offered nothing to anybody except maybe a fraction of a percentage of the population that get rich off other suffering. Also, to clarify, my hatred of is this Reagan spelled wrong again? I guess he meant to spell Reagan. Okay. This is a new one for me. I haven't seen anybody do this. My hatred of Reagan began when his adjustments to Head Start led to me losing access to the program. But then I found out about his support of McCarthyism, his support of COINTELPRO, his myriad crimes, including preventing a quick response to the AIDS crisis because he hated gay people. So I vowed that once I got a vote, I would never vote for a racist D-list celebrity with age-related mental infirmity. Appia says the hate campaign against Blake seems real. Someone is trying to find bad stuff on her, but as for now, the results were rather harmless and it's not sticking. I don't have any strong feelings about her in any direction, but I also noticed that someone wants the public to hate her. And Sean says, what I meant is that there is one person that really hates or wants to reduce her, but they are trying to make it look like a spontaneous popular sentiment. I agree with both of y'all. And this is the kind of thing that does make my spider sense tingle. It's just being on the internet. How many times we got to see the same playbook before it's like,
it be the same thing.
People are being used, but
and they keep falling for the same trick.
People are being used, but what does it mean at this point? Because I have to assume you're willfully being used.
Yeah, but so you want to be tricked,
or you're willfully ignorant to being used. You know what I mean? Like you're pouring yourself into this for a reason. I don't know what. Go ahead.
I feel like, and we kind of talked about it before, a lot of times people benefit from it, because if you didn't benefit from it, you wouldn't get into it. And when I mean benefit from it, it's a distraction. Benefit from it, it allows you to vent. It allows you to get all these internal feelings that you have, because maybe you did lose your job. Maybe, the economy is impacting you. Like something has happened, and this is a jump off for you to get all that frustration out online without you actually taking personal responsibility for the shit that you need to address in your real life. Because I will always say this, for a lot of people, a lot of the anger, sadness, bitterness, and all of these things online is a distraction from shit that you actually need to address. That's why people are like, well, why are you getting mad at the most mundane, pointless shit? They're actually not mad about that. They're mad about other things, and this allows them to take that anger and pour all that unfiltered, unadulterated anger that they actually need to be addressing in other various ways into this one thing, and acting like this is the most important thing ever. Because, like I said, these feelings are going to come out. Anger, sadness, depression. They're going to come out. They're going to come out one way or another. They're going to come out by you spending hours and hours and hours online. They're going to come out by you punching people. They're going to come out by you screaming at family members. It doesn't stay shut up inside of you. It will come out some way, shape, form, or fashion. For some people, just writing and typing things online is a way of releasing these things from inside of you that have been boiling up that you actually need to address offline.
Yeah, I think that just sums it up. Ramsey D. Jenkins says, good day to Rod and Karen, 5 stars for this week's podcast. Despite the technical difficulties, Tuesday night of the DNC was lit. The entire DNC week is what America looks like. Cannot wait for Harris Wall's campaign to come to Texas. Appia says, I've seen some videos from it, and the Democratic Party really looks like a representation of the U.S. It's not the party of only white men anymore, and it seems organic, and I really like it. There's a huge difference between the two parties. Yeah, and every time Appia chimes in on something like this, I'm just reminded, man, the whole world is watching us and helping we get this right. We really can't afford to be apathetic. It is going to impact the entire world, what happens here.
It's so many people that are literally scared. Like, there's other countries around the world going, we hope these white people get their shit together, because if they don't, we are fucking fucked. A lot of funding comes from the United States. We know Donald Trump ain't gonna fund us. A lot of the things we need to get shit done, humanitarian, all types of shit is depending on who the next president is.
Regarding Blake's training comment in 2002, a lot of people either forgot or don't know how feral the late 90s and early 2000s was. Being as offensive as possible was in. Just look at the reality shows of that time. Next, The Swan, etc. I think mainly shit, and that's before you get into just like Jerry Springer. Like, y'all remember how fucking cutthroat like Jerry Springer was? Episodes of that shit where like that, yeah, it was not some secret where motherfuckers are just like, oh man, that's surprising that anyone would feel this way. It's like, no, it was pretty fucking blatant. And like that was not even considered controversial. Like, I can't stress enough, like that was not like a moment when someone said the word tranny on, and I'm not saying it shouldn't have been, but it just wasn't considered that at the time. Let's see. I think mainly white women don't like her because she married Ryan Reynolds, whom a lot of them consider to be their husband, and it's insane. The vitriol against her makes no sense. Love the recap of the DNC and the speeches. Thank you. And yeah, I don't get it, and it's not for me to get. It's fine. People feel how they feel, but I totally do not understand how shit got this bad with her, because it's just like y'all really feel that strongly about this mostly like generic actress, you know what I mean?
Right.
But obviously, their prerogative or whatever to dislike whoever they dislike. Let's see. Love the recap of the DNC and the speeches. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. The next one's from Keith. You may have already Keith left a comment that was basically saying that we should play the Michelle Obama speech that has Meet the Grahams beat underneath it. But then Keith wrote in later to realize y'all did do that. I just hadn't finished the episode. So
that's hilarious.
Let's see. The next one's EVE. I never paid so much attention to a political convention until this week. I'm so fired up. The roll call was so fun and clever. Oh, absolutely. It was amazing. The best part is that every single song had to get the approval of the artist to be played at the convention, so Dump was melting down over this because of all the cease and desist letters his campaign kept getting.
They were getting them left and right. They was like, don't play my shit.
Right. I have a special place in my heart for my birth state, North Carolina, and was so happy to hear P.D. Pablo's Raise Up. Made me want to take my shirt off, spin around my head like a helicopter. But as a Pennsylvania resident, I love how energetic Josh Shapiro was, and the fact that one of the songs played to represent our state was Wiz Khalifa's Black and Yellow. He had to approve that song, and being Amber Rose's baby daddy, I found that so funny. The side-by-side roll call of the RNC and the DNC was such a stark difference. The DNC was lit and energized with so many young people and all ethnicities, while the RNC was old, dry, and white, and I bet it smelled like mothballs in there. This is another reason that I take the joy and vibes and is not good. I take that critique and throw it in the trash, because joy and vibes is what the youth vote is.
Yes.
And
yes,
this whole fucking time with Biden has been, he's old, young people don't want him, there's no enthusiasm. Here comes an injection of enthusiasm. They go, all y'all got is enthusiasm. Bitch, you said.
You said.
Sandler Agnew says, y'all, I watched that it ends with us, and even I think Blake Lively slanders too much. Yes, it was weird, and she used this film that is about domestic violence to market her makeup line and make the film feel less about the subject matter. But however, when people are digging up things from 2008 and 2016 to ding Lively is why this internet shit is sometimes pretty whack. Also, proof that the show Beef was right. Also, we don't even know what Justin Baldini riff was if that was why the cast don't fuck with him. Jenny Slate in an interview during the film's rollout was like, I'll just stick to just acting. It's a paraphrasing of what she said, so trust but verify, but everyone has had their role for the bad PR of this film. I just stopped caring when I found out people were looking at reasons to hate Blake. She'll be alright. Hopefully Justin will too. The professional relationship seemed like a bad fit for everyone. Yeah, all I know is it's more to that story than just Blake Lively's a bitch, which is all people been saying. Like, it's just, and like I said, and I don't know nothing about this woman. I don't want people to think it's like I'm a fan, so I'm protecting her. I'm more of a skeptic of all these online, like, what do you call it? Organic hate movements. Like, I put organic in quotes because they never feel organic. They feel very orchestrated. And like, I would go so far as to say I would not be shocked if part of the rollout of certain films was like, look, this film, the most we can get out of it is some controversy because people ain't really interested in this shit.
Right.
So like, let's do that fucking Olivia Wilde thing and just be like, yo, I don't think Harry Styles is talking to so and so, and then maybe we can get some attention that way because no one gives a fuck about this movie.
Right, because it's not the first and won't be the last movie that's had shit happen behind the scenes and people don't like each other and fell out. Like it's people. You're dealing with people. It happens all the time.
Rona Raphael says that Blake Lively hate thing doesn't make sense to me. I just recalled a recent interview with George Clooney where he called out the director of the Three Kings movie. He said that it isn't worth it to work with a man, he mentioned him by name, by the way, for the sake of making a great movie. Wasn't it over 2 decades ago that movie was made? So I bring that up to say George is a bigger star, can call out names. Blake and it looks like the rest of her cast aren't there yet, but if memory serves me right, haven't we had a couple of stories years after where we found out how people were treated on set, then social media justice kicks decade after the incident with literally nothing as repercussions in real life, then the cycle repeats again later. Well, yeah, I don't know what happened. I just know that they're not fucking with each other. The rumor is it's about that cut, but then it's like, why would the cast give a fuck? Why would they not be fucking with them? Well, it just seemed like a lot. Anyway, none of it seems to be about the movie for real. Right. I don't even know if that movie's good. I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard any good or bad. I ain't heard nothing.
The poll was Blake Lively, lover, don't care, or hater.
Don't care.
12% lover, 85% don't care, and 2% hater. So there you go. All right, we got plenty of voicemails to get into, like 7 or so. Okay. 7 different calls, and some people left multiple voicemails, but I gotta play a beat so that we can get this get this motherfucking money.
Okay.
Let's see, what beat am I gonna play? Here you go.
Psycho
music.
All right, that was called Don't Cry by Psycho Music. The first voicemail is from Ebony. Here we go.
Hey, Rod and Karen, it's Ebony. First of all, let me just say, Banter, talk to me. Like, Jen was in her bag on that. I don't think I've ever Millie rocked so hard to an intro. And y'all should just play it off of GP, whether you have banter or not. So anyway, I just wanted to say, you brought up the media folks giving Kamala Harris like a really hard time about not doing any sit-down interviews. And I'm just scratching my head because I'm like, President Joe Biden up until the very end was like, no, I'm going to stay in it. And then he wasn't. So what do you think the vice president was doing all this time? She was supporting those policies that were part of the Biden-Harris administration. Mm-hmm. She's not backdooring him and having these secret like policy meetings to get possibly ready. Like she might have been. I don't know how assume she knew, but she's doing other things that are a priority. Like y'all said, she is, getting her team together, even though most of the folks from Joe's campaign went over to her. But
Right.
she's, picking leadership, and she's like trying to figure out like what messages that she wants to put out there from an ad perspective. She's picking a fucking vice president. And so for them to be like, oh my gosh, for 3 weeks she hasn't done a sit down, that ain't her priority, and it doesn't have to be. And if she wants to talk to people, she don't need the media. She don't need to sit down for a New York Times or whomever. She can just go on the TikTok or do an Instagram video.
That
she don't have to do all
bothers
that.
them.
So that was pissing me off. So I'm glad y'all said something about it. And then real quick, you talked about, Eamon, fast forwarding to Crazy and burning up all of those people, and it clicked for me. Remember, like, so many people were like, oh my gosh, I hated the last season of Game of Thrones because for some reason all of a sudden Dany was cool and she was this like benevolent leader and had her head on straight, and then all of a sudden she's Ebony again. I'm sorry, I'll keep it quick. But anyway, folks are just saying, like, for many reasons why they hated, Game of Thrones. And I was thinking to myself, maybe I am a contrarian. Because I'd be the only person that's just like, oh, I kind of liked it. They kind of democratized the throne and, it's all good. Anyway, so I say all that to say, like, do you think that there is a link, between that? Like, people were caught off guard by how crazy Dany went in the end. Maybe that's just a Targaryen thing, and they're kind of trying to thread that through, that at any moment they can seem like they're cool, and then all of a sudden they flip the switch to crazy. I don't know. It just made me think about that. But anyway, hope you all have a fantastic week. Looking forward to the rest of the episodes this week. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the thing about Dany, the whole time she was like, yeah, they say our people mad. They say, like, they emphasized on that so much, and the whole thing was she wanted to make change, she wanted to make a difference, she wanted to quote unquote break the wheel, as she kept saying, and she wanted to be reasonable. But at the same time, it got to the point where she was like, fuck it, burn it down. Everybody's like, oh, she burned it down. Yes, they literally have been setting you up for this the entire time, and people was like, I cannot believe it.
Yep, I agree completely.
It didn't make sense to me.
And yeah, I think that's the Targaryen madness that we're supposed to be, absorbing. So, yeah, good call. All right, the next one is from Erica.
Hey, Rod and Karen, this is Erica. I'm listening to the feedback episode, and I'm so excited because Rod talked about my idea for the villain origin story and working in customer service. And please write the script. I'm ready to be Angela Bassett. Okay, you be I'm having a brain stop. You be the director, the guy who did Black Panther, Ryan Coogler. I want to be the Angela Bassett to your Ryan Coogler. Please write this. I'm in it. I will do it for free. Thank you. You guys are the best.
Man, that'd be tough because I like in my mind I think I would cast JL Covan as the customer service phone call center person because I want somebody that is like looks like a killer with a lot of rage, and I think and I think like talking shit on the phone to somebody that like you bitch, fuck you, da da, and then a 6'7" dude shows up at your fucking doorstep and murders you. I feel like he could make that happen. I feel like that's it's the role of a lifetime. He's been waiting for it his whole life.
Life. He just pent up anger, and you can just he's sitting there and hang up the phone. He don't say nothing, but we can hear his inner thoughts.
Look, all we need is iPhones, and we don't really need a script because I've seen Tubi, and
no, we don't.
What people will watch on there, apparently. I mean, I think we can make this happen.
I mean, JL, if you're ready for the big time,
right? All right, next voicemail. Oh, is this blank? I think it's blank.
Oh no!
All right, cool. That was from a number I didn't know anyway. Then another number we don't know. So let's see if this is blank.
Hi, Rod and Karen. My favorite cousins in my head. My name's Carmen Chanel. Long time listener. I probably left 1 or 2 messages in the past. I don't know. I am a lazy ass nigga, right? So I don't be doing all the things. I know you have a lot of listeners that are very much involved and checking in with you guys. So often, I'm that raggedy cousin that just love up on you at the holidays and all that kind of stuff, or whenever it's important. Like I'm not the one that's doing all the things that I should be doing. Shame me, Karen, for not doing the things like leaving reviews and 5-star reviews, stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I might go ahead and get on that today because, yeah, sure. But I'm calling for nostalgic reasons. Rod, you briefly mentioned, I think on 2961 or 2960, I can't remember, Twib, right? And so I remember like Elon and the things and the wife and the baby, and I'm thinking about like shit. I wonder if they still together. I wonder how old the baby is. Like, how grown is the baby? Like, I am an old school listener of the Black Guy Who Tips and also Twib or whatever the case may be. And you just triggered all kinds of memories for me. Like, even, was it Baller Alert or whatever, when you were reading the stories of alleged celebrities tricking off with the regular folks and people getting flued out and all that kind of stuff. And they would leave their stories like, but whatever that was, I missed that. I miss Hayden and Terrell Jones. I miss you guys. And I promise you, every single time you ask Karen what the weapon of the show is, I stumble the same way Karen does.
See?
And want to say taser, even though in my brain it is the folding chair in today's time, right? Because, you know, in the olden days, it was the taser.
When she got cut off, she called right back.
As much as I didn't want to be the people that got past the 2 minutes and just wanted to leave one voice message, here I am again. Just letting you know how I love you guys, how I'm endeared to you, how you did trigger some old memories and thoughts of, like, when I first started listening to you guys and podcasts and Twib and all of those things. And just wanted to say, you know what? Y'all out here doing the Lord's work. You are educating us on all things politics, race, and LGBTQIA. Hey, family, you know, me and my boo over here living life like lesbians and enjoying it. Kamala Harris, 2024, whatever. We doing the things. We just can't wait to vote. I'm sick of you niggas. Sick of y'all. I don't even want to talk about this shit anymore. Everybody just go vote Kamala and let's move on with our lives. I don't even want to talk about it no more. Okay. I'm done. I just want to send you guys love. Thank you for triggering those memories. I do wonder what Elon and them is over there doing. I don't do social media like I should, just like I don't be leaving reviews like I should of you guys. But just want to check in. I say, hey, y'all, hey. I love you guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's
Thank you for checking in, distant cousin.
Because I can see on here, like, the last time that she called, and it was in 2018. So I'm a deadbeat cousin. I don't mind. You know, that's my love language. And I just know through social media that Elon and his family, they still together, still doing good. The babies are getting grown. He posts a lot about being a dad, and his kids are like full blown like little nerdy nerds now. It's awesome to watch, man. You know. All right, Jen left a voicemail.
Hello, Rod, Karen, and Blue Wave Rider, because he's my favorite listener of yours. I love his voicemails. Him and the lady who calls every once in a while. I think she sends y'all products sometimes, but her voicemails are so hilarious. So hello to all of you people. It's Jen, aka Esabalu. Thank you so much for playing my beat. Y'all gave it so much love, and I'm just so appreciative of y'all. I felt truly gassed, and I was just I'm not gonna get too into it, but the music shit has been kicking my ass lately, and I made a decision to just make some shit that was just for me and kind of get back into my producer bag and just do some low stakes stuff. And I said, at the very least, Rod and Karen will play it, and y'all gassed me up, so I appreciate y'all. And I think I've had some high highs and low lows. I've been in LA now, coming up on 4+ years, and it's been crazy. Between this and New York, I'm like, woo. You know, what I want to do is just people listen to my music and say nice things, and y'all did that. So I appreciate that, y'all. I also connected with Felt 5 and DJ Jaffa on Instagram, which is high praise because they were so nice, and they're like the goats of y'all's pod, and so now we're the Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole of TBGWT. So I mean, I'm J. Cole, so I'll let y'all decide who's Top 5 and DJ Jaffa are. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for your kind words and for everything. Appreciate y'all. Have a great week.
Thank you, Jen. And I remember when she was Jen from Brooklyn when she first started calling the show. And now she's all the way out there in LA. And I know LA can be a real head trip, especially for black people. And there's a lot of hurdles and all kinds of bullshit within the game. So I'm glad if we can keep you gassed up and charged up even a little bit, I'm happy to contribute.
Yeah,
because that beat keep us
that's
gassed
a bop.
up and charged up.
Talk to me. Yes.
That was dope. All right, EVE.
Hi, Rod and Karen. This is EVE. I just needed to call in to express how excited I am about this Harris Walls ticket. I felt such doom and gloom when Biden pulled out. I was screaming and crying because I was like, I was so sure that we were going to lose it. But then I have never been so reassured by how, meticulous and just how well this campaign is rolled out. And I, was especially very energized watching the convention. And I never watch these conventions because they're so boring.
Right.
But the roll call, the speeches were energetic, the crowd was on fire. Just watching the people and the energy, it just makes me believe that we're going to do this. We're going to elect a black female president, and I'm excited. I also, was concerned about who Kamala Harris would pick as her running mate, and I think Tim Walz is the perfect candidate.
I agree.
I was so touched by his son crying because I'm the mom of a special needs child, and that was just so special to me. And I really felt that in my heart when I saw Gus get up and cry and just express how much he loved his dad. Because if you are in a situation where you have a child that, is often, misjudged because of their actions, because of something that they can't often help, it just warms your heart for moments like this. So it's me, EVE again. I didn't mean to leave a message. It's so long, but after this message, you're probably not going to hear my voice again for a very, very long time, I promise. As I was saying, I just thought it was just a super special moment, and it just really touched my heart. It melted my evil, icy heart. And I just loved everything about this convention. And and the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, is knowing that Dump was just melting down watching all of this, because he claims that celebrities don't matter. But whenever he gets a chance, he always pulls out these dry, dilapidated, old has-been celebrities that nobody gives a fuck about anymore.
Right.
So seeing all these young, vibrant Hollywood actors and all these celebrities come out and endorse Kamala Harris, we had Pink performing, you had the Chicks performing, and seeing like the roll call, he was melting down, and he was watching every minute of it because he was, he made all these tweets about it. So like, I'm glad. That was probably the best part, him melting down over this, because it made him miserable. And any chance for that man to be miserable, I love it. I love it. Just inject that shit into my veins. Anyway, I love you guys as always, and bye.
Thanks, EVE.
Thank you.
And yeah, I mean, I think what we often forget in this time of like cynicism and this like online hive mind that just feels like depression is always winning, hope is radical. I forgot it a little bit. I think Michelle Obama, one of my favorite parts of her speech was when she talked about that stirring of hope and how it had been so long since she felt it. and that it's almost unfamiliar. Like, what is this? And it's like, wait, and I think that's what I was trying to say that day I woke Karen up and we did the show. Was like, nah, I feel something. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't just a Biden stepping down, woe is me moment. This has the potential to be a moment that we've been waiting on our whole lives. Like, they told me it was impossible for a black man to be president, and then they told me it was impossible for a black woman to be president. And I mean, y'all heard it on the show. I'm like, nah, I don't think it's impossible at all, and I think it can be her. And I think we're on the precipice of that, but we just can't take it for granted. You can't relax, and you have to understand it's still a fight. So ain't none of this shit promised, but the hope is what makes you fight.
Yes, sir.
People always forget that shit online. Is the doom and gloom is what spreads online. You know, the inner thoughts, the inner monologue, the bad voices, but it's the hope that make people fight. So anyway, Miss Barnes, last one. She left 3.
Hello, Rod and Karen. This is Miss Barnes. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning. I am so overdue, and I am so playing catch up. But I just have to say, I have to tell you this little chuckle that I have. Whenever I would finish watching House of Dragons, at the end, they would always advertise that they have a companion podcast. And then I would laugh and be like, no, Rod and Karen is my companion podcast for the House of the Dragon. What are y'all doing? No. So I just have to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for giving us such a quality recap of House of the Dragons. Like, no one else is talking about Lord DEI or Auntie Mees. And Rockwell's Someone's Watching Me lives rent-free in my head the whole entire time that I'm watching the show or whenever they're going to Harrenhal. Things like that are the quality that I love in these recaps. And just from the bottom of my heart, I have to say thank you so much. And yeah, it's 2 years, but you know what? That's okay. Maybe 2 years till it starts over again. But I know that we're going to have a quality recap right behind it. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. She called back though.
I did good with my last voicemail. I beat Computer Lady. Anyway, this is Miss Barnes again. So I also wanted to say, you know, Rod, I see you on your fitness journey, and again, thank you. And if I'm putting words in your mouth, I profusely apologize. But it's about when I see the pics of you touching grass out in nature, or lifting weights. It's about the journey of feeling strong, being strong, feeling good in the body, and not about weight loss. Because, yeah, when it's about weight loss, it's not a fun journey, if that makes sense. It's the journey of being strong and throwing weight around, because I love throwing weights around. Throwing weight or going walking, being in tune with nature, or just whatever you do to make your body strong and feeling good. Like, it really, truly feels great to just take care of your body through fitness. And yeah, the goal is we feel great in the body, and as a side symptom, we lose a little weight, that's okay. We're improving our numbers, because I have to improve my numbers. Talking about things with cholesterol, trying to make sure that I don't have the sugars. Prediabetes has always been my struggle, but just feeling good in the body. And I just have to say thank you, Rod and Karen. I really appreciate it. And
thanks. She left another voicemail, but I was gonna say thank you. And yeah, I think part of the reason I don't want to just focus on weight is because it is, at least in my mind, it makes me go to such a negative place where all I'm thinking about is what I'm not doing right. Why isn't this happening fast enough? Why isn't if I treat myself like shit, but this number's going down, then hey, at least the number's going down, and I should feel happy about the number going down, as opposed to like, you know, other stuff that are also good measurements, and I think the byproduct is losing weight. So, you know, being able to walk now for like, you know, I'll go out walking. It's really not a problem at all for me to walk for like an hour. And when I first started this, if I walked for like 20 minutes, I'll be like, ooh, that was a good day. You know what I mean? Like, and I still don't walk fast, but she told me don't worry about walking fast. Just walk, clock the time, and then whatever. It's been tremendous for like just my mental health too. Getting outside, feeling the sun on my skin,
Seeing vitamin D,
seeing other people. Some of them wave, some of them don't, but it's this feeling of like, we're all out here enjoying nature, kind of in it together. You know, I think anxiety wise, especially since the pandemic, there's this like epidemic of loneliness and this disconnection from each other, because social media is not a true connection in many ways, because it can make you start to think the worst of people, and you can kind of forget some general truths, like, and I'm not saying this as a platitude, like or whatever, but it's like you can forget that somebody can have some different opinions than you, but at the same time, we all got to share this blue orb in the sky together, and certain shit, just getting out and doing it, it don't really matter what the fuck that person is or who they are or whatever. It's just we out here trying to navigate life or whatever. And so yeah, I've been enjoying it in those ways, and then a lot of the hurdles and stuff I've overcome mentally about just working out and lifting weights and all that stuff is it's just been tremendous. So thank you. And yeah, and I'm glad that it's having that effect on people, because people had that effect on me. I just never said anything to them. There was so many people that I watched that I was just like, oh, like I watched somebody become a weightlifter, and like a competitive weightlifter, it just like on social media, like she just went from like just bam whatever to being like, yep, I think I'm gonna do this. And I was like, huh, you can just do that? I guess we could just do what we want to. You only get one life.
Right.
You can kind of just do what you want to with the shit. So this is my new shit. So I've been enjoying it, and it's not all stuff you can see. You know, because that's the other thing. I don't wear tight or revealing clothes anyway, so nobody really, like, people can see my face slimming up and stuff, which is cool, but it's hard to really see it on my body anyway. And I reach certain milestones and stuff, and I'm like proud of them, but I still have something inside of me that's like, you got to keep going, and it's not just about that. So I'm gonna just keep going, and I think this is like a life thing that I want to do for the rest of my life, not when I reach this weight or when I do this number. Nah, I'm just gonna keep going. It feels good, and I like the way it feels, and I miss basketball, and basketball's not happening around here as often now, so this gives me something to do, leave the house every day with a purpose, and and so it's been good. Thank you.
Yeah, and also I think for me, it's been motivation for me too to get more physically active. I go walking with Roderick when I can. Most times it's on Saturdays. Like if he does it more on the weekend, when he does it during the week, I'm normally working.
Right.
And so I enjoy going walking with him. I'm not as fast, and sometimes my hip and stuff hurt. But
that's not the point. I don't mind slowing down. I just let me know.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful that Roderick slows down and stuff for me, and I just like getting out there and working up a sweat and circling all the rings in my Apple Watch and things like that. And so it's actually been enjoyable. One thing I do enjoy about going out down the trail, you see, particularly I guess because I go with you more on Saturdays, you see a lot of children riding their bikes with their families. You see a lot of parents with children kind of with these contractions behind their bikes. Or either I seen one, I've never seen a bike like this before. It was so adorable. It was his dad riding his bike, and in front of like he had two pedals, and in front of him it was his daughter, like literally right in front of him with her own small seat kind of up on the bike, and she had her own set of pedals. And the way it was, her feet, because she was like, couldn't have been no more, maybe 2. She had her feet kind of strapped in, and so he was pedaling. She had her helmet on, he had her helmet, and child, they were just a glide, and she was just as happy as she could be. And then her brother was behind. I was like, oh, that's adorable. And it's a good way to get children adjusted to being outside and not being stuck in the house all day, and it's free. So it's not like it kind of maybe it might cost you the gas to get there or something like that. But overall, like, the activity itself isn't something where you get on the trail and it's a charge to get on the trail. So it's one of those things where, and you raising another generation to be more active.
Yeah, I think I saw a couple on a tandem bike the other day. That was cool. But yeah, just getting out there. She left another voicemail, by the way.
And take care.
One more. Here we go.
Hi again, this is Miss Barnes. You know, and I beat the computer lady before then too. I'm on a roll. So I'm going to make this voicemail real quick. I just want to ask, are we getting a live show this year? Because I love making the road trip down to Charlotte and laugh. So just curious. I know that you both of you are severely busy, but sorry. You got any live shows in the back? Just asking. Anyway, take care. Love y'all. Bye.
We are looking into it. I got to reach out to Joe from Joe Hunsucker because we've typically been doing it the last couple times during the comedy. Like they have the Charlotte Comedy Festival, and they basically just give us the venue for free when they do that. And this year, instead of it being in September, I believe it's in October. So I'm gonna reach out to him because he's always been very kind to like give us a space during that week, and we do the live show. So if that is the plan, if that's okay, with him, because normally he reaches out about a month or two before it happens. And if he's down with that, then we'll do it that way. If not, then we'll just do the venue our way, and it'll just be just for us, no attachment to the other stuff. But yeah, we do plan on doing one this winter, fall area. I'm a pumpkin spice bitch, so it would be good around that time.
Yeah, and looking forward to it. So if you're thinking about it, get prepared. We'll be making announcements soon.
Yeah, we'll let y'all know. All right, now we got to do emails, and then that'll be it.
Yep.
It's been a long one, but that's been good. I appreciate y'all.
Shout out to everybody for 5-star review.
Another Psycho Music remix.
So this one is called Millie Remix by Psycho Music. All right. Episode 2961. Rhea writes in, good morning. Chiming in on Biden's proposed cuts on prescription drug prices. I'm 100% in favor of this. I work in healthcare and still wasn't fully aware of how high these drug prices are. When my father became ill about a year and a half ago, he suddenly needed 2 of the drugs on that list, and just those 2. Out of pocket came up to $1,100 a month.
It's fucking
additional.
Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And then a lot of times you like compare those prices to other places in the world, and it's like pennies on the dollar compared to what they're charging us. It doesn't, and it be for the exact same medication. It don't make sense.
Additional meds were another around $500 or so monthly. So this 80-year-old retired man on a fixed income suddenly, while dealing with the first ever serious illness, needed to come up with $1,600 a month to sustain his heart. We are from a Caribbean island, Dominica, and he decided that since he's dying, he would prefer to die there, which you can imagine was a whole other emotional journey for the family. But I mention it because the prices of his meds in that tiny third world in quotes country, in order to figure it out, I need to ship them to him there. It was less than $1,000 per year. So yes, some serious regulation of drug prices is hella necessary here. Also, hi, I love you and Karen. Appreciate you both for your consistency and the rationality that you approach news, events, and politics. Rhea, thank you. And yeah, that is so wild. So out. Celeste says, we won't go back. Hi, Rod and Karen. Rod, I saw your thread on Twitter about your experience of working out and where you have come from and where you are now. I want to thank you for sharing. Having a team support you in your goals that you set for yourself is so helpful. And what I think came through for me that you were saying is that success comes in many forms. While some is external to the world, what is really meaningful is internal. So again, congrats. Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting, man. Like, what happened was I had a scale in the house that was actually wrong, and the scale was telling me I was 20 pounds lighter than I was. I don't know what was wrong with the scale. It was old, but it was digital. I don't know what the fuck happened with that scale. But you know, the thing is, I was losing weight and I was measuring myself. This is before I had a nutritionist and a trainer and stuff. I was just doing stuff on my own, trying to get more active, coming out the pandemic, blah blah. And I found out this year after going to the doctor and being like, I know my weight at home is this, but I came here and y'all telling me it's like almost 20 pounds heavier. How's that fucking possible? And I said, man, it must be the scale. So I go home. Turns out my mom had given us an extra scale for just no reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, she gave us
and so I went
scale.
ahead and pulled it out and weighed myself on it, and it was closer to what the doctor said. And I was like, oh shit, that other scale was wrong. So I threw it in the trash. But I had been losing weight this whole time, but it was a mental hurdle because in my mind I was like, oh man, I'm 20 pounds heavier than I thought I was. Maybe it's not going as good or as fast as I wanted it to be. But the truth of the matter is, it was 20 pounds over consistently, which means I was always losing weight. It just was the final number was wrong. But
right.
Anyway, so I threw that scale out, got the new scale. I had to adjust all my measurements in my Apple Health app and all this shit to go back up to be like,
these are the actual weights. Yeah.
And so I was looking at the long-term trend the other day because for the last 2 or 3 weeks, it's kind of like my weight has been stuck at the same area. And I don't know why. It's just ebbs and flows.
Out,
you know, I'm gaining muscle. I'm not just trying to lose weight. I'm not starving myself. So at any rate, I go to look at it and I went and looked. I was like scrolling back to be like, where did I come from? And I was like, wait a minute. I'm almost back to that 20 pounds I'm almost back to what did I say? I said it was making me 20 pounds heavier. I'm sorry. It was making me 20 pounds lighter. I'm sorry. Not heavier. The broke scale was saying I was lighter than I was. I'm almost there again. So I was like, you know what, man? Well, I've been like hyper focusing on these last few weeks and worried that I'm not doing enough, even though I know I'm going to the gym 4 days a week. I'm walking 2 days a week. I'm resting 1 day a week. I know how hard I'm working. I know how my body feels. I know I'm stronger and firmer than I was before. I was like, yo, I really got in my head about that bullshit because I'm still progressing. And while I'm obsessing over like, this I'm still this weight, I'm back to where I was when I was happy to be like, oh my God, this is happening. So, you know, I had to look at that and put it in perspective. And that's, like I said, that's why I didn't want to and don't want to make this a weight thing, because for me, it erases progress that I'm making that's just not weight related. And I'm concentrating on the wrong shit. So at any rate, though, the milestone was I did notice that I've now like officially lost like 50 pounds from when I started this whole thing. But I had reached that milestone weeks ago. I was not thinking about it because all I think about is 1 day at a time, one weight at a time. And because of that reset with the scale, I had, like when I was proud of it, I feel like I was proud of it. Like I was proud of it then, like, wow, look at me. I've never lost this much weight. I've never stayed this dedicated. And then I was like, wait a minute, scales broke. Fuck, I didn't do any of that. And now I'm like, oh wait, I did it. I did do it. So anyway, all right.
Yay!
So I am sure many will talk about the DNC this week. At first, I was planning on catching some here or there and finding clips. My husband and I ended up compelled to watch each night. Thank God for coffee because this is way past my bedtime.
Yes, they were real late.
But what I appreciate is how Minion Moore and the team of black women who have been doing the work behind the scenes for years put together a great experience. How it had levels to the messages, who was speaking, when it was a party atmosphere, and when it got serious. How black women who are the base of the Democratic Party gained experience, built relationships and coalitions, and frankly earned their leadership roles and political and practical power that come with it to impact so much of where we find ourselves. The team of ladies who call themselves the Colored Girls, which includes Donna Brazile, Minion Moore, Reverend Leah Daltrey, and more, the Win with Black Women organizing call led by Jateka Eddy, that started organizing during the pandemic. It was those women who helped to make sure that even in the pick for the VP when Biden ran in 2020, them saying Kamala Harris should be the running mate. This does feel like a shift in so many ways. This is why so many, I think, of the extremes in both directions feel threatened by the moment. This feels like messaging. We are at a moment where it's too serious to stop treating it as if it's a game. When she said he is not a serious man, but what he wants to do is, I jumped up and hollered. Yeah, that was a great line. I also love when she said they must be out of their minds. I said, I loved it. People talk like she didn't mention she was a black woman. If you look at dead into a camera and say they must be out of their minds, I promise you don't need to say you're a black woman. You just said it. That's that Claire Huxtable. You don't need to say it. I know that. Every person that has ever been raised by a black woman knows that's a black woman. Anyway, it is what I've been saying, and I know you and Karen have on the podcast and so many others. Yes, he's not a serious man. He's a serious threat, but he's not a serious man, and it should say something that half of our country is pushing an unserious man to helm the White House because they didn't like having a black president for 8 years.
Right.
I think about how those that pushed Joe out and wanted to skip over her are still lurking out about his consultants. As I just read a newspaper article the other day trying to tell them stop saying we won't go back. They don't know what the fuck they talking about. That like you got what you wanted, but you're gonna have to compromise like everyone else did.
Right.
You got Biden out of there. Now you don't get to steer the ship. You got the thing.
Yeah.
You don't get to take over the party. Okay. And if you're gonna be mad about it, be mad, but we're not listening to y'all, and that stuff we won't go back resonates.
Yes, it does.
The joy resonates. So you're not gonna tell me no, we need to have a more somber policy base. That we tried that with Elizabeth Warren, we tried that with Hillary Clinton. Y'all didn't want that. So we got to make you feel good. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but the administration and policies have been pretty fucking accurate, pretty good, and they've been delivering those promises that they said they would. So y'all don't give a fuck about that, obviously.
No,
you're not going to trick me. Anyway. Like you, I'm glad her team and this new energy is like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. We are going to do our own thing. Yeah. Yeah, she's sitting down on her interview next week. Of course. And you know what? It's not going to be enough. So whatever it is, just prepare yourself. Says. We'll be home going, that was a good interview, and they'll be out there going, she didn't say this, she laughed, she did something wrong, because that's what the fuck they've been doing the whole time. I also saw how online some are continuing to be in that depressed hive mind you talk about, which also feels a bit narcissistic and performative. I hope they find help and peace, and also shut the fuck up. Anyways, take care, Celeste. Yeah, Celeste, I'm with you. And then she said, sorry, forgot to put in some links. There's a link from a 2016 election with a song from Leslie Odom and Sarah from This American Life, and what they imagined Obama was thinking during the election. It was powerful then, but it just came on my feed again. I mean, it's almost 3 hours. I'm not going to click on the links. I'm sorry.
Right.
And then the Win with Black Women call, and the organization, the link, winwithblackwomen.org. Thank you.
Thank you.
KJ says, yo, what up, good people? I commented on YouTube a couple weeks back about Hotep's no tep zone comment. Fortunately, I'm definitely not letting anonymous digital hotepery disturb my peace. I've been the Blackout Tips listener for way too long to not pick up game y'all been putting down about arguing with anybody, hotep or otherwise, online. Right?
Ain't that the truth?
Unfortunately for us, my wife and I, it's direct family members, uncles, in-laws, and remaining childhood friends that are too close to ever completely throw away. So I just got to navigate them all as the best we can. A couple years ago, several of my brother-in-laws mentioned that they were fans of Kevin Samuels and Jordan Peterson. One went as far as expressing his love of Andrew Tate. The lack of self-awareness of those guys to not see the Venn diagram of their religious, biblical, Hebrew, Israelite identities and the likes of Andrew Tate only overlap in their shared disgusting, reprehensible, absurd levels of misogyny was wild.
Yes, it is. And sometimes you gotta be like, we can't talk about these topics. Like, we could talk about everything else but this bullshit.
Was and is. That shit is a real misogyny. Honestly, dog, and I know this gonna sound controversial, but I don't think it is. It's worse than racism. It's honestly worse than racism.
It's terrible.
Because you can see people who are racist and don't like each other bond over misogyny, and they will stay in those groups.
Yes.
All damn day. I still remember this episode of Medium Talk back when I used to do interviews on this premium behind the paywall.
Mm-hmm.
I had an episode of Medium Talk where I talked to a black dude who was a listener to Black Guy Who Tips, but also a member of Gamergate, or at least he was defending them. And he was like a dude with a heavy African accent, brother from like across the pond. We talked for like an hour that was mostly just yelling at each other. It's very chaotic. I probably would never do a show like that again. But I was just so charged up in the moment because I couldn't understand, and it made me angry. Brother, they don't like your black ass either.
No, they do not.
You think it's just these girls are coming and playing our games. And it's like, dude, they're just hacking your brain with the misogyny that is present in it to then make you feel like it's okay that there are a bunch of other isms too. And I couldn't tell him shit, dog. He was convinced that it's just ethics in game and journalism. And I'm a black guy, so how can they be racist? I'm like, some of these niggas in the goddamn Klan.
Right.
Well, how can they be racist? Anyways, great week of shows. You guys been killing it as usual. The DNC did the damn thing for real. Hit all the marks they needed to. Michelle with the meet the Trump read. LOL. Barack did a dick joke. What? LOL. Let's go. I swear watching side by side comparisons between the DNC versus RNC is like fall versus summer. I'll take that. We're gonna say fall is the great side, right? The former in each case is clearly better. Okay, yes. Okay. KJ, you had me for a second. I got scared, but I forgot you my boy, so you was on it. Like, come on, man, where's the debate? Summer babies don't come for me. I know y'all already hot and miserable. I don't want no smoke. Right, that's what I'm saying. A lot of them people born in the summer be wanting to fight all the time. People don't talk about that. Why y'all think y'all signs all want to fight? Cause y'all be hot. Oh, and last thing, the juxtaposition of Rod realizing he was right about Joey Lawrence being in Blossom touchdown celebrating and then reporting on his divorce and wife's intention to seek full custody was absolutely hilarious to me. Thanks. That's why we love the white people news.
Yep.
I don't have to feel no attachment. Just tragedy after tragedy. I'm like, I don't know these white people. That is good or bad for them or whatever. Even with the Blake Lively thing, I was just more like that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yep, and moved on.
So y'all hate her now. Okay.
Moved on. Roger gonna bring her up again. I'm like, who?
Yeah. I just didn't know it was happening.
Right.
I feel no attachment either way. Could be a great woman, could be terrible. But just
right.
Wild that y'all decided that today. Thanks for all the fun and your boy KJ. Thanks, homie. Last one is from John. Good morning, Rod and Karen. I'm so glad you decided to watch the DNC when you said you were probably going to skip it. All I could think was, do you realize how much black women find this on display on that stage and in that crowd? Absolutely. I mean, I knew it was going to be some fine ass sisters there, but like, I mean, that's not really why I watch a lot of politics. Like, politics is entertainment for me. Is just such a like, it's a no-go for me because I'm afraid of where my brain's gonna go, and I look at what it's done to other people and I feel like their brains are fucking rotten, and I feel like they get into this zone of like celebrity and amusement that is so unhealthy for motherfuckers that's about to decide policies, and you may need to be like, fuck this motherfucker one day, or you may need to be like, hey, I don't care that this guy is a jerk, or you don't like the way he dresses or whatever the fuck. He's on our side and he's doing the things we need to do.
Right.
You know, I think that's low key kind of why I was so supportive of Joe Biden and still am, was because I'm looking at the policies. The optics don't mean much to me. Now that makes me an outlier. I'm not saying that's normal. Obviously that's not normal. People look at him and go, The motherfucker's a skeleton. He should die, and he could die any second. Why the fuck are we doing this? And to me, I'm like, he a skeleton that passed the only gun reform we've had for fucking 30 years. So
that's all that matters to me.
I guess I'm for Skeletor, bitch.
Yeah, Skeletor. I got my goddamn vote.
Or whatever. And I think obviously that's an outlier point of view. So I can accept that. I'm not here to sway minds and hearts with that. I think other people identify with me, but a lot of people don't. So I get worried about consuming this as too much entertainment to where I'm like, Maya Harris, that's a fine ass woman. Maya Harris is fine, but that shouldn't be why I'm tuning in, But listen, at the same time, if I found out today that the DNC made up that Beyonce was coming to trick these motherfuckers into paying attention to the future, I wouldn't feel bad at all.
Care.
Then lie and say Taylor Swift is gonna moderate the debate. Get all these dumb motherfuckers to fucking pay attention to something that actually matters, and not whether Blake Lively is promoting a movie wrong. How about something that matters, guys?
Right.
Anyway.
So you can take control back in your chaotic ass life, and maybe you wouldn't spend so much time being fucking angry online.
Right. Anyway. Look, obviously we shouldn't vote based on looks, but damn, can we talk about how much more attractive our party is than these pasty Skeletor ass Republicans? Oh, absolutely. I love seeing the contrast of our young, smart, but also usually pretty fine Dems, and especially all the great crowd reaction shots that show black women having the time of their lives during this 4-day party. Yeah, I do like that because I feel like something that and this happens with Star Wars. This is gonna sound like a weird comparison, but this happens with Star Wars for me too. So I know how I felt seeing like John Boyega get cast, seeing Sam Jackson get cast, seeing Donald Glover get cast, seeing Lando Calrissian, Billy D. Williams. Mm-hmm. I know how those people being on screen made me feel, and yeah, it's surface level. It's the politics of what they call it, representation and all that, but it does matter on an emotional level. It matters. Mm-hmm. It resonates with me. Mm-hmm. Those characters, I see them and I think about myself. And I remember all these Star Wars fans in quotes that are anti-DEI, woke, whatever, that just don't pay attention to what the stories are about. But they always are like, why they gotta put a black woman in? So everyone's coming. And I remember black women after seeing the not The Last Jedi, the first one, The Force Awakens. I remember black women being like, yeah, Lupita's in it, but she's a CGI alien and we don't really get to see her. And I remember a lot of black men and other types of nerds pushing back and being like, she got the role. She liked doing CGI. She said she learned a lot by doing this. Gonna help her make point. And I said, yeah, I hear what y'all are saying. Maybe Lupita doesn't have a problem with it. But what I like about Disney is that black women are saying, hey, we would like to be on screen. And Disney is the corporation that's like, does that mean y'all will buy more tickets? And they say yes. And then they say okay, and next thing you know, Thandie Newton is in it, and the black woman that was in The Last Jedi, that was kind of like Finn's love interest-ish character. Mm-hmm. The black Inquisitor was in Obi-Wan.
Yes.
So all that to say, when we had Barack, I felt like when I saw Sam Jackson. And I'm sure sisters was happy for us and happy as black women. But we always asking sisters to be black first. And then we'll get
women second, yes.
Yeah, identify with us. And I love seeing what Bakari Sellers is doing right now. I love seeing what Roland Martin is doing right now. But I still remember the last few years, even when Kamala was getting stuff, and there was this idea that, well, what about the black man, black men, black man, black men? And I'm not saying we shouldn't care about black men, but my guy, we had a fucking president,
right,
for 8 years. Maybe we could be black first one time till she get on. then you can pull out your, specifically we need a black man policy. If you want to do that, that's fine. But for now, what if we just supported and played our role?
Because women are always expected to.
We asked them to do that. We demand that they do that. Right. And we expect that they do that.
Right.
And we don't give them nothing in return. And so here's this time where it's our time to be like, and it's not just black men for the record. I'm saying this as a black man. This shit apply to everybody in the Democratic Party. Way too often we expect black women to take the brunt of shit, do all the fucking work, get none of the fucking credit, and then we tweet out black women saved America, but we don't want them to be in no office or whatever the fuck to get the credit.
Nope.
But last time I checked, man, we are always better off when there is a righteous, good, integrity black woman in a position. I mean, yes, I'll take anyone with those qualities, but there's a reason Ketanji Brown Jackson it hit different. There's a reason. So like, that's why I was so adamant that you can't skip over Kamala Harris, because it's like telling black women to wait again, and there's a point where it's just too fucking much. You're asking too fucking much.
Yeah.
And that
would have snapped.
Yes. And so this joy, this euphoria is only possible because we did not do this. And a huge amount of this is a release of anxiety and tension and being told to wait. And it's the enthusiasm of people that are like, it's our fucking turn. And there's an authority to it. Like the way she stepped into this is not little old me. She stepped in and it's like, yeah, bitch, I should be the fucking president. I'm better than this guy on the other side. I'm better than Joe Biden. Let's fucking go. And I have plans, and I'm not just doing the talking points. I'm not just reading a Biden speech to everyone.
Right.
And no, not everything's going to make you feel great about it because I got to be president. So it's not like I'm up here just regurgitating Twitter. This is who I am. These are my thoughts. This is my stances. Take them or leave them, but this is the fuck I'm here for. And it feels great. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, that's why it's like Star Wars. And that's why the black women partying in the crowd, it feels so great, because they would have got their life to Joe Biden with some, if he would have been saying some funny stuff in a speech or whatever, but it ain't the same as
it don't hit the
when
same.
Michelle is talking and you see that woman do the snaps and come down from standing up and you like, yep, you're not getting that if it's Joe. No offense to Joe, but he ain't a black woman.
No, and also black girl joy is contagious, and that's something that the world will never admit, because a lot of our joy is sincere, because we've been told to be everything but joyous. Like, you put everything else before your joy, your family, your friends, your religion, your life, your children, everything else, and your joy and your needs and what you want. We don't care about that. We'll just beat that out of you. And for the first time, we can put our joy and our womanness first, because white women have all, particularly in this country, have been allowed to be a woman first. We've never been allowed to do that.
We've never really seen black women in the Democratic Party not just be here to survive.
Right.
And so that's why this shit. Now look, I mean, I have to tout my own horn. You know what I mean? I got to do it. It is me. And I definitely feel that I called a lot of this shit. But like, this is what I said. You know what I mean? This is why, like, even when Karen was pissed that day, I'm like, I'm feeling good. Cause I can see the potential in this moment of like, it's here. And it's sometimes you gotta just take that motherfucker. You can't wait for everybody to get on the same page and take it. And the only thing that would have mattered is they would have tried to stab her in the back and keep her from being the nominee. They didn't do it.
And I'm so glad.
And I have to give them credit. They didn't do it. I'm dropping it. I have no more misgivings about the shit. They didn't do it. If they tried, it didn't work. Fuck it. We here now, and they're riding. That's
all that matters.
They're riding with her, and that shit matters. So yeah, I was right about that.
Rob is right. Yep, Rob is right. Rob is right. Rob is right. Yep, Rob is right. Yeah, Rob is right. Whoop, what was that again? Oh yeah, Rob was right. Rod was right.
That's all I'm saying. All right. He goes on to say, in that speech by Kamala, to paraphrase Karen, woo child, simply amazing. She fucking nailed that shit. She even threaded the Israel-Palestine needle perfectly, in my opinion, showing that it's totally possible to support a ceasefire, self-determination for Palestinians, and security and safety and for mutual respect for both sides. I'm sure protesters won't be happy with it, but it really is the position supported by most Dem voters. Yeah, also like that the protesters don't do happy. That's not what a protest is. And there's nothing she can say on that stage that's going to matter more than her actions in office, period.
Agreed.
Everything would just be lip service. I wouldn't blame them. If she came out there and said exactly what they wanted to say, it wouldn't matter, because they're going to be like, until you're in the office and you do these things, we're on your ass. We'll be protesting the next speech too. And that's the thing. As a president, if your only goal is to not get protested and you just start capitulating to whatever the protest is, that's not gonna feel like leadership to anybody either, because it's not true. The closest thing she could do to lead is to get up there and say the truth, and what she said was closer to the truth than just, you know, some simple ass like, we will always stand with Israel and just shut the fuck up. Like, I thought what she did was leadership, and we'll see how it pays off or not, but it's only gonna matter if she gets in the office, then what she does. It was a smart move. Just win, baby. Anyway, love your coverage of Hillary, Dougie, Barack, and Michelle's speeches. You highlighted all the best moments. Hillary's haircut and the smirk during Lock Him Up, Doug's incredible sweetness, Barack's dick joke, and Michelle's everything. What an incredible convention. I do watch these things, and let me tell you, this one was special and unusually great on every metric. Yeah, I've seen them before, but I've just never watched them as entertainment. But this one felt like it was infectious. I had to watch it. Rod, I'm so glad you discovered Chapel Roan. She is absolutely amazing. If you liked her album, I highly suggest you watch one of her concert performances on YouTube. She is a really great character on stage, has some serious vocal chops, and her shows are just a big old party of girl power and queer pride. Her sets at Bonnaroo, Lollapalooza, and Outside Lands are all on YouTube in HD and are all really fun watches. She has a Taylor Swift energy, but with more interesting songs, better singing in my opinion, and a more funny, playful LGBTQ-centered vibe. Yeah, I like her album so far. You know, I'll be listening to her on my walk sometimes. And those Harris Walls camo hats you probably seen Dems wearing, those are directly inspired by Rome's Midwest Princess t-shirts, and were basically demanded by Rome's fan base when Tim Walsh was picked and became such an immediate splash for his Midwestern vibes. It's a feminine phenomenon, one of her song titles, indeed. P.S. Laughing my ass off to Karen making shit up about Northern Mariana Islands, state territory. Love you, Karen. Cheers. Stay safe. B-boy Jay Guns. Not Jay Guns. That's crazy. But yeah, thank you, man. Thank you everybody that took the time to write in. We appreciate y'all, and we'll be back soon. Hopefully this is short enough for the video to be able to go up on YouTube.
So fingers crossed.
Until next time, I love you.
I love you too. Mwah.
Bye, everybody.